everybody. Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Big Pep live stream on Discourse Syndicate. So we're going to jump right into the topics of the week, of course. Check the Hex price, talk about some of the big headlines in the economy over the week, and the major news that everybody's been focused on, obviously, is the sacrifice phase has started for the PulseChain. Talk about some of that in depth as well. Everybody, please just do a quick audio check and smash the likes. Let me go ahead and pull up the Hex price here. We'll check that first. And see what's going on. So we've had a lot of, I mean, the price is doing phenomenal. I see we have, a bit of a sell-off right here, just a wick down, really. Wouldn't even call this a big sell-off. Thanks, audio, good. Thank you, Russ. But I mean, the volatility is actually much milder than I would have expected at these price points. And I believe twofold. One is people are starting to understand the actual use case and value in Hex and staking and holding. And they, a lot of these price points back in the early days of Hex, some people asserted we'd never even get this high, and that maybe 1 or 2 pennies was the all-time high Hex would ever reach. And of course, we're toying with 20 cents now. I think Richard said in his stream last night, I didn't check the charts, but we maybe wicked up briefly to the 20-cent price point. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see us hit that this weekend. Sacrifice phase, again, I'll save that till the end. We'll talk in detail about what's been coming in, Richard's streams and whatnot. But price, again, performance is amazing. Better, I think, than anybody would have expected at this point. If you asked somebody a year ago where Hex price would be today, a lot of people wouldn't think it would be this high. So great news overall. Very exciting to be in the Hex ecosystem. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some headlines for the week, and then we'll go into the Hex Pulse news. So one thing I pulled up here was how the U.S. became the world's new Bitcoin mining hub. This was predicted somewhat about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and as China was starting to force out a lot of Bitcoin miners, there was rumblings about them going to the U.S. Let's just go over the key points here as well. The U.S. is the second biggest mining destination on the planet, accounting for nearly 17% of the world's Bitcoin miners. Prior to Beijing's sudden crackdown, China's mining dominance had already begun to slip. Marathon Digital's Fred Thiel expects most new miners relocating to North America to be powered by renewables or gas that is offset by renewable energy credits. And the article goes into some details on that. But basically, what they're talking about is, the mining isn't going away. It's just kind of doing a continental shift, and I'm sure it's somewhat cyclical. It'll come back around to other low-cost regions, and now they're trying to use the whole green energy, movement as leverage to, justify Bitcoin and all that. I think it's just like Jurassic Park, right? Life finds a way. So when there's money to be had, and you need this type of thing in this particular asset, then sure, somebody's going to find a way to make it profitable. But the good thing is, and one comment on here is, Pulse doesn't have this problem. This is where proof of stake comes in, and you don't have to worry about these FUD headlines that come through and either pump or dump prices just based on concerns around how to even process transactions in the ecosystem. So more to be seen there. But I think actually anything that's good for Bitcoin, and Richard has said before as well, radiates through the space. So it's a good move to see that, yeah, it's still going to be generally thriving, and I'm sure the difficulty rates will adjust accordingly as mining continues. We'll keep an eye on that. And how that affects the price remains to be seen. There's a lot of other things in the economy we're going to talk about here as well that are impacting, I think, pretty much everything except Hex. Hex seems to be the anomaly. It performs aside from a lot of the negative news that's currently rippling through the economy and the globe. So this one I just found interesting. In line with the previous article, Malaysian authorities crush 1,069 crypto mining rigs with a steamroller. I mean, this is obviously just, a statement, right? That, we don't want this, energy wasting power hogs in here and we're going green or whatever. So I don't think it's as much about, anti-crypto as it is anti-waste of energy, or proof of waste, as Richard has coined that before. So I think that, again, you can see the general sentiment around this type of thing. Pulse, again, should be embraced by people like driving this steamroller, because now you've got the proof of stake system. Yes, you will have some energy consumption, but you're not going to be, warehouses and warehouses full of just brute force proof of work miners to process, glacially slow transactions when the network is busy. So again, seeing globally how that statement can play out. All right, let's see here. Got some other stuff to talk about. Okay, one right here. So Jenny Yellen says, inflation could hurt home buyers, warns Yellen. I do worry about affordability. Inflation is definitely a problem in the, we've been talking about this all year and prior to that as well, ever since really the government started doing the airdrops of cash to people, and we knew that it was going to have some, you have to pay the bill at some point, and we still have fairly rapid inflation. Housing prices have spiked. The prices of everything have spiked. Your dollar doesn't go as far. What Janet Yellen's talking about here is, yes, she sees that people getting in to homes are seeing good equity and gains, but the smaller players are getting shut out, and we saw this coming. And I've mentioned this before in previous shows, where I do think the housing market, it's obviously in a bubble. It is going to pull back, not for the same reasons it did in 2008, and she even comments on that in this article. I think the fact of the matter is, it's not really such an artificial market, but your general buying community is not who's purchasing homes now. This is a radically different market than we're used to seeing. We have a lot of cash buyers, a lot of people coming from expensive regions such as New York and California, and they're cashing out substantial amounts of equity in a home, and they can go to places like Texas and Florida and the Southeast and other states with very low cost regions, buy a home for cash, retire, and have plenty of money left over. So that's something to just keep an ear to the ground on. And it's not directly a crypto story, but housing will play a major role in sentiment in the global economy. We've seen this before too. I mean, it was a direct driver in the 2008 crash, and that goes through stocks, and of course will go through crypto and every other asset class as well. When the housing bubble does pull back, I don't know that it's going to crash severely, but I do expect that it probably will pull back to some significant degree, which any kind of price decline or sales decline can cause some short-term FUD in the space. Okay. Let's go on to a couple other quick articles here. This one I found also interesting for anybody into the electric vehicles. Not sure if you saw this story, but GM warns some Bolt electric vehicle owners, don't park them inside or charge them unattended overnight. GM is telling some owners this, 2017 to 2019 Bolt EVs not to park their vehicles inside or charge them unattended overnight. 2 of the vehicles caught fire after they were repaired as part of a recall meant to address the fire risks. That is the most alarming bullet point in this story, is that these were already addressed with this issue and they still caught fire. GM and NHTSA announced a recall of nearly 69,000 Bolt EVs from the 2017-2019 model years in November. We saw a Tesla car catch on fire a couple weeks ago and actually locked the driver inside while he was driving it because the system went down. So, electric vehicles, I'm fairly confident that is the way we're migrating in transportation. But when you rush to production, I've always said this, and rush to market with things just because it's cool tech, you tend to have these types of issues surface, and it can push you back a bit as well. And then of course, EPA and regulation stuff starts coming in. These are fairly dangerous situations. I wouldn't want. Looking at this, to have a car you couldn't park in your garage or charge overnight, park it on the street and hope that you don't have wind and it catches fire and it burns your house down. That would be a little bit nerve-wracking. I don't think I'd want to deal with that personally. All right, and one other headline here, and then we'll jump into the Pulse sacrifice news. COVID deaths on the rise again in the U.S. after weeks of decline, CDC says. After declining for weeks, 7-day average of COVID deaths has increased by 26% to 211 per day. New cases increased roughly 70% since last week. Hospitalizations increased 36%. Health officials maintain that Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are still highly effective against the Delta variant. And this is Dr. Gottlieb right here. I'm not going to play this video segment. I watch him a lot. He's the former FDA commissioner. He's a very level-headed thinker. He's very knowledgeable in the space, obviously. He's not, a trigger-happy guy on either side of the fence with this. The good news, well, what I like his, narrative on this is like, look, I don't see a reason for us to go back extreme like we did with shutdowns and all that before. He thinks that it could be handled with very, pocketed surgical strikes. If there's an area where there's a concern, so to speak, you might be able to focus on just that particular small region instead of, blanketing the entire nation. I think we're still getting supply chains back up and a lot of other things. I mean, I think every industry is having issues with supply chains. So to hear this kind of thing, I'd say it had to be pretty severe to start cutting all or shutting all that stuff down. I don't think we'll get to that extreme again, is my point. But the reason I bring up this article is because I think everybody's well aware of, the Delta variant and some of the rumblings around that. I wouldn't be surprised to see, that weave into the headlines if it did become something that impacted even a small segment of the marketplace. Again, that kind of thing can radiate out if there's a certain group of people that start to, or a certain mindset that people get into where, they're like, oh my God, this whole like, world is ending type of black swan event. I think everybody's a little bit smarter about that now. And, look, the vaccines, they've done, studies that, prevents it's a lower, I guess, transmission. This variant, from what I understand, and what he was saying is it's more contagious and whatnot, but I'm not going to get into the whole thing on the pandemic, but it's just a headline to watch. I'm not going to even comment on pros and cons of, getting vaccinated, whatever. That's all personal choice. That's another type of show to discuss those things. But the only reason, again, I bring it up is because if we continue to see headlines like this, that could spill into the stock market, which could also spill into crypto. And I think Hex will actually weather the storm pretty well. But, we've seen the stock market kind of flat, or, it's not really performed all that great the last couple of weeks, little bits up and then it pulls back. So, just a little bit of a finger on the pulse, no pun intended there, of mainstream finance 1.0, because they do still play a role in our day-to-day lives as much as we don't want to admit it. Okay. At least for the time being, I mean, we will get to a point, I think, and we're seeing it now. Crypto is in the headlines of CNBC all the time. Well, let me pull up another thing here. We're going to start talking about the sacrifice phase. But we'll just, I'll keep you posted on my shows, anything that comes up. But I do follow this fairly closely through the week, at least the general markets, and, see what kind of events come up. And I don't get too trigger happy with that stuff either, because they do it all the time on business news. Today, the sky is falling. Tomorrow, we're on a rocket ship to the moon in the financial sector. Nobody can lose. So they're just the same type of, buy the rumor, sell the news. So they have to print the headline, I guess, to draw in viewers, or nobody's going to watch their shows. So looking at the sacrifice phase, this is from pulselead.xyz. I did hear in Telegram that there were some issues pulling data where you may not see your sacrifice if you check your wallet in here right away, or maybe the amount's not lining up exactly with what you see on Etherscan. I mean, just a side note, if you participate in the sacrifice phase, Etherscan is your reference point to make sure that things went through smoothly. Steph talked about this in Telegram. I think other people have demonstrated it as well. You go to Etherscan with your wallet address, look in your ERC20 transactions, you should see the transaction sent to the address you get in the sacrifice page, the pulse.info homepage. And I'm going to try to pull that up here. I know there's a lot of scammers and there's a lot of confusion. Let's keep it one source, one reference point for this type of thing. Go straight to Richard's posts and pages for information on how to do that. And it's actually very simple. It's just you want to, do your due diligence, because you see some people have sacrificed significant amounts of money. I mean, these top leaderboards, I'm thinking this number one address is probably George, but he'll never admit it. Well, that would be my guess. It's probably George, because now he wants to get in and get some mad gains. But looking at the list here, I mean, there's a lot of wallets that have sacrificed over $1 million and even more so over 100,000. I mean, I'm actually kind of astonished at how many people actually have this kind of money to sacrifice. And I don't think it's just Hexicans that made big gains. I'm sure a good portion of this is. But I think there's a lot of retail people who feel, hey, I was late on Hex. I didn't know about it. I got fudded out, whatever. Here's a second chance. And not only that, like Richard said, people are more intrigued in the ecosystem by something like Pulse because of the fork of ETH. It's something that developers and legacy folks, and people that understand the crypto blockchain space at all, can get their head around and say, oh, wait a minute. Hex, Hex is a very niche type of use case. It's the CD on the blockchain. It's time locking, monetizing time. And if you're not interested in that, well, then there's really nothing else to talk about with Hex. If you don't want to, take part in something like that, then you may say, well, okay, thanks, but no thanks. But you look into something like Pulse and you say, well, wait a minute, this is a substrate. Not only that, it's a substrate with a full system state. So this is new. This is a new venture altogether. And there's a lot of other components and improvements that Richard has alluded to with Pulse. I think we're going to see this go. I thought we might hit 300-400 million in the sacrifice phase, but the way this has started out, we may be in striking distance of $1 billion at some point. But you can see, again, this is just after he launched it, and it was Eastern Standard Time around 1 a.m. when he officially came out with the live stream. So we've got 5 days to get in without the price of Pulse ratcheting up. The last 3 days, and there's a 14-day period after that. And then at the end of that, the price will be about 2x what it is today. And you'll get the last 3 days, you get a 1.75 multiplier, hard-coded bonus. Doesn't matter. There's not a volume sorting where you're going to get higher or lower. In this particular phase on out, you'll have the opportunity, if you're in the top tier, to get up to 2.5x bonus multiplier on your sacrifice. And then I think it goes down in tenths of an increment all the way down to 1. So obviously, if you're at the very bottom, it's a very small contribution. And I like the way he did it. You don't have to compete day to day with people. It's aggregated over the entire time duration of the sacrifice phase, except say those last 3 days. And then you're sorted in. It's sorted from biggest to smallest on volume contribution total. And then the bonuses are allocated accordingly. So yeah, he wants people to have options to take part in the phase at any time and not have to worry about, oh, I just didn't time it right, or I would have had a better bag. And then also people who contribute more, to his point, should be rewarded more. If you're a bigger participant and you're putting more on the table, you should reap more rewards. So good strategy, good game theory overall. And you guys can scroll through this, download it to a CSV if you want to do some analysis on it. But good to see. And again, I think the actual total value is probably over 200 million, because this does not count for, this has wrap BTC and wrap ETH, but does not count for things like ADA, BTC, Doge, and some of the others that are in the list. So quite exciting to see the activity in there. I don't think anybody can deny that this thing is going to be, that this thing has some traction. It's got some legs already. It's not even launched yet, and it's got some significant appeal. So looking forward to that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the chat. By the way, also on the Pulse, just to clarify, I haven't looked all the way in the chat yet, but understand that, the way you earn sacrifice points is $1 equals 10,000 sacrifice points. And now, the price is $1. And then when that ratchets up I think it's 5% or 5.1% a day, something like that. After day 5, you'll get points for your dollars, but it costs more. It's gonna be like $1.10, $1.20, all the way up to about $2 in the last phase. So if you go in with 10 grand in the last days, you're gonna have less buying power just because the price of the credits has gone up in that respect. Hopefully that makes sense. Spike, good to see you. Hex and Effect, Finbear, Russ. We got Nardo. Hey, good to see you, Nardo. Smash the like. Thank you, Russ. Mad Mike Bradley, yo. Waking the Big Pep. What an awesome day. Thank you, Russ. It is an awesome day. I mean, it's an awesome time. I think everybody in Hex is excited. And you're probably only upset if you dumped a while back. If you thought maybe 2 cents was the top and you dumped your bags, I'm sure people at that time would be frustrated. Now, Mad Mike Bradley, productive. And listening to, even like Richard said many times, people always regret when you sell crypto. You often regret that move down the road because you will have wild swings, but long term, holders generally get paid the best. Holders and founders. A Stockton, come on, 20 cents. Yeah, 20 cents. Let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up. We can pull up the chart here so you don't have to just look at me while we are discussing chat. We can watch the real-time 5-minute chart. And price. See, getting a little bit of recovery already from the wick down when we started. David Gomez, what's up? What's good, everyone? Good day in Hex for sure. Crypto J. Good audio. Bill, what's up? Gavin Milner, what's up? Hello all. Good to see you, Gavin. David Morales, good to see you. Great debut on the music video. Oh, I did watch that. You're talking about the one from Toby one. Yeah, I did a little. I didn't have much time. I did a little recording from there. He did a really good job with that. I mean, it looks really polished the way it took a long time, I know, to put together, but it shows in the work. It's very streamlined, very, very slick. Hex, good morning. It's a great day to be a Hexagon. Yes, it is. Maybe remake it just with the girls in bikinis. I think that would be more what people want to see. Well, maybe that's just my perspective. Crypto Journey in the morning. Happy Pep, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Archie. Well, morning over here, but afternoon maybe where you are. Hector 78, hey, good to see you. Ben, how are you? Mudhog. David, great morning. Nicholas, any idea how many Pulse or what do we have here? 10,000 points per dollar. Yeah, 10,000 points per dollar. Now that's today, Nicholas. In I think 2 days, it's going to start ratcheting up 5%. So, you're going to get points still, but they're going to just be more expensive. It won't be per dollar. It'll be per, say, 10,000 per $1.10, $1.25, that type of thing. Archie, yes, the narrative about energy wasting proof of work is a bit of a red herring, in my opinion, considering the waste of the legacy financial system itself. It's just another way Fed bashes crypto to protect its monopoly. Yeah, no, I would agree with that, Archie. If we're going to go and attack one participant, I think we need to zoom out and analyze all participants, including, just like you said here, the Fed and the traditional markets. No doubt that if you wanted to do an analysis of energy consumption in the years of the Wall Street tycoons and the Dow trading floor, the NASDAQ trading floor alone, I'm sure that was significantly higher than what all of crypto is consumed. So yeah, good point there. People will tailor a narrative to meet their agenda, often do, especially in the media, because they're very biased, and we've seen it with even what the platform we're on right now. So yeah, they do tend to manipulate headlines for that purpose. I was shocked how cheap houses and condos are in most of Texas. I think Texas comparatively is rather inexpensive. I'm right now, just my opinion. I mean, for housing, I think that it will probably pull back and interest rates will start going up in another year or two. So there is going to be a little bit of a trade-off. You've got some premium rates, I don't suspect interest rates are going to surge, but maybe we get a little better rate, and it depends if you're even looking for a mortgage or what terms are appealing to you. But right now it's going to be tough if you're planning to buy a home. And of course, no financial advice here or anything, right? But I would think that if you're going to try to flip or buy short term, it might be difficult to get enough equity to make that purchase worthwhile. If it's a home you're going to live in forever, then maybe that doesn't really matter. Big Gunner. As long as you feel the terms are right for you, I guess that's the main thing. Fordor, I seriously doubt the capability of the local dealer's traditional mechanics ability with EVs. Finding someone who's better than a parts replacer is rare. Yeah, good point, Fordor. I mean, I know a guy who's, I work with a guy who's a previous engineer in the automotive industry. He comments on a lot of these things as well. And he's been very critical of some of the, production around Tesla and these other EV vehicles. And also on the whole, it's green energy, but then you look at all these lithium batteries and the waste, and what are you going to do with these in 10 years? You're going to have massive landfills of this kind of stuff. And the production of those is not energy efficient either. So there's, again, it fits whoever's headline, whoever's writing the headline and their agenda. They can write it to be positive just because say, oh, green energy, but that's not necessarily always just so turnkey black and white. Let's go Pulse. Rasta, yes, agreed. Pulse is, I think the biggest excitement now, of course, sacrifice phase has started. Everybody's jumping in. I think that what we'll see is at the end of sacrifice phase, hopefully there won't be a huge delay between that and the launch of Pulse. It sounds like the test net's pretty much ready to go. So maybe they'll run in parallel, and that will be a more seamless transition. Because what's going to happen is a lot of people are say, hey, where's my Pulse? Where's my Pulse? And then if there's any delays launching the chain, which look how long it took to get sacrifice phase actually out there. I don't want that to be fudding people out just because there's misunderstandings. So the sooner the better when that does come live. Gavin says, if you pull the head rest out, let's say, if you pull the headrest out, you can break the glass of a car in an emergency. That's a good tip, Gavin. We were just talking about that yesterday, how to get out of there if it fell into the water or something. All cars can lock you in with a wiring fault. Yeah. I'm just kind of surprised there isn't like a manual override switch to that. We were talking about if like your car flipped off the bridge into the water, how would you get out? And that's actually, we didn't even think of that. That's a good point though, Gavin. Interesting. Archie, that's probably due to Vax's checks Bayers. Well, there is definitely issues with some of that as well. I've read. Yeah. John Sullivan, Big Pep, I love you, but Gottlieb is paid off by Big Pharma. I know he is, John. I know he's a Pfizer. He's on the Pfizer board. I'm not saying that he's flawless and spot on with everything he says, because I didn't agree with everything he said about some of the masks and everything before either, when he was a bit of a mask pleb. But he does, at least at this point, he's not one of these jumpy, like, trigger happy journalists that's just can't wait to go back to the misery loves company scenario. So at least in this particular stance, he's being a little more objective. But because he is a promoter on CNBC, I'm sure he has to fall in with some of what they want to hear too. So I do take everybody I see with a grain of salt, even the people like Joe Kernan that I follow more closely. I think the world is a little smarter this time about these new variants. This isn't the first time we've seen mankind deal with this kind of stuff. So I think the shock and awe phase is gone. I think people can deal with it more strategically. Delta is a lie. Wake up. I don't know about that, John, but I got my last channel shut down on some of that stuff. So I don't want to get Discourse in any trouble going on rants here with you. Everybody that knows my channel from the past, put it this way, my stance on these things. So believe me, I'm with the people. I'm not, I don't buy headlines. So I'm with you. John Sullivan, you will continue to see these headlines forever until, yeah, I got you, John. Like I said, I don't know if you watched my old channel that got shut down, but Jay, everything, pandemic is exhausting. I think people are over it. People are just over. I mean, they're like, well, life's got to go on, right? We've got to move forward. You can't just sit there and wallow forever because people's always going to get sick and die. We can handle things better, I think, now. And there's more data now. There's more knowledge. I think people are, again, staying on politics, especially on the Discourse channel. Sorry, guys. I would get into this topic more deep, but I can't. Shit never ends yet. Archie, yes, Hex is just incredible, though. Not going to get a lot of sleep in the next few weeks. I think, Archie, most of us have been checking Staker app till we're getting carpal tunnel or arthritis. It's addictive. For a set it and forget it type of token, that's the funny part. And I'm sure, I'll openly admit it too. I watch the price probably far more than I should, considering stakes are locked. You're not going to end anything. It really doesn't matter where it goes. Most people that do have long stakes, nobody's going to nuke themselves. For what reason? Doesn't matter where the price goes today. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see progress. It's exciting to see the fundamentals in action. And not only that, look at the rest of the space. It's bleeding red all over the place. It's flat. It's down. And, this is why you see also, I don't know if you noticed on the Banter show that Richard was on the other day, the Crypto Banter, the chat in there was nasty. Boy, what a bunch of angry trolls. You could see the hate just boiling in there. And it's because they're all wrecked plebs. They bought bags of shit, and now they're paying the price for it. They can't sell them, or they have to dump them at a huge loss, and they have no confidence that the project will ever have any traction or get completed or get headlines again. Most of these other coins have already been forgotten. If it's not on the front page or talked about by a promoter, a lot of the stuff even the big promoters are talking about, they already forgot. I even say like Chico Crypto. How many alts has he talked about positively over the last 6 months? I'll bet he can't even list half of those damn things anymore, unless they're like his every weekly show. But there's so many, and they're all for the most part are wrecking people. And people should call these other guys out and make us say, look, you told me Hex was a scam, and whether you love Richard or hate him doesn't matter. Look at the gains you could have had. That's all that really matters here. I don't know why Hex is over microanalyzed more than everything else. It's baffling to me. Vogel, hi Pep. We had a sharp increase in COVID in our district. I'm stuck at home under a new lockdown. Sorry to hear that, Vogel. Hopefully that gets lifted. But I'm bracing myself more mentally than anything. But at the same time, people can also speak on this type of thing because enough's enough, right? Hornet, stake for 10 and chill. It's early days. Yeah. Good point, Hornet. Right now, we're all still early. People are getting in just today, just right now. You're not too late. You're brand new. If you get into Pulse, you're getting in ground floor. In Hex, look at the way Hex is performing. Do you think 20 cents is the top? Do you even think $1 is the top? You really can't see and read between the lines on how this could play out to be, $10, $20, $100? I know it's hard to get your head around the market cap, but the market cap really doesn't dictate anything. It's a vanity metric, as Richard's talked about many times. It's the market cap. That's what keeps you back. I hear it all the time. Well, market cap. Don't fudge yourself out on market cap. I made a video a while back talking about Apple and a market cap it used to have and was considered absurd, and now they're, over $1 trillion and nobody's complaining. Do you have a link for the leaderboard? It is just, I do not have a link. It's just pulselead.xyz. PULSELEAD.xyz. And you can just see it's actually in, where did I get that from? Telegram. If you look in the Telegram group, that's where I gathered that from. A lot of people talk about it in there. Jay, everything, it's George. Yeah, it's probably George. Crabsteak, who is George? George is the YouTube influencer that hates Hex. He's that little kind of he's that bulbousy, Asian kid or whatever. He's been on YouTube for a long time. He's got, I don't know, what do you have, 400,000 subs the other day? And when Richard was on BitBoy's stream, George made a recorded stream afterwards blasting Hex and Richard and, what a scam it is and all this kind of thing. And he's trying to make a bunch of points against it. But Richard, same day, somebody was trying to organize a debate, and Richard agreed. George has just been blocking anybody that comments to him about it. So kind of tells you where he really stands and what he's really all about. The Asian YouTuber, yeah. It's funny. I did see a video he posted on Ethereum, just a curiosity. It was about a 30-minute video yesterday where he's talking about the metrics of ETH. Don't be fooled. It's gonna moon soon, type of thing. And what does he say in there? He goes, "We're in crypto for life-changing wealth and all this kind of stuff." It's like, wait a minute. I mean, why is that okay? And then when you say it for the coins you promote, but in Hex we say it, and oh, you're just trying to take. It's a Ponzi, it's a pyramid, just trying to get rich on other people's investments. You're just trying to dump on their heads. You're sitting here saying life-changing wealth, and it's a good thing when you want to dump your Doge and Ripple on somebody's head, which you talked about the week before. So think about it. Yes, the leaderboard is not very accurate at the moment. They are hoping to update it today. I just heard some chat there, retrostatic on that. Yeah, that in the Telegram last night, there was some issue with, I don't know if it had to be with pulling it in correctly or pulling in the data at all. Maybe it was missing something. Cryptos are us, Hornet. George on YouTube is Cryptos are us, all one word, if you want to see who he is. You aren't really missing anything, but if you want to check him out. Dutch Mexican, what's up, people? What's up? I mean, they're trying to figure out how to moon coins that have dumped. We're over here reaping the benefits of Hex. I mean, I don't, get on the winning team. Matt C, as long as they aren't jealous whales wanting to crash the price. Yeah, well, we'll see pullbacks in Hex, no question. Well, we've seen some pretty big sell-offs even this last week or two, but it recovers. That's the main thing. When you understand the way to profit from Hex and pull profits, I'm not saying you just hold indefinitely. Nobody is. But it's not a pump and dump type of system where everybody's just got to ride this promise coin type thing to the top of the bubble and dump at the right time on everybody's head and run. Hex is that golden goose. It's that regenerative cash flow. Talk about it in the Finance 1.0. Even Warren Buffett says he likes assets that produce dividends, interest, returns. That's why he doesn't like gold, because it doesn't produce anything. You're strictly tied to the price of gold going up and nothing else. It doesn't generate any revenue. Michael Solitaire, we will hit 1 billion. The biggest whales are yet to come. Number one spot will be around 30 million sacrificed. Mark my words. I'm with you, Michael. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be, at this point, wouldn't be surprised at all. Hey, Rizology, good to see you. Morning. Trapcoin, who doesn't hate Hex? LO, only people who are picky about the coin that are in already rich and don't invest time in what they don't believe in. Right. I mean, it's easy to, when you've missed out, love Hex. Yeah. Sorry. I get it what you're saying though. Yeah. I mean, yeah, people, and look, sometimes people, they generally will look at it now and say, well, it's too late. It's too late. And then they kind of lash out at people that made the gains and they try to feel better about it. They do it with stocks all the time. Oh, I missed Amazon, but that's okay because they're too high now and they're going to crash. And everybody's going to get wrecked. Instead of thinking, well, I could have still bought Amazon at $1,000 and, 3-4x my money today. I mean, Hex, look at how many X were up in Hex. I mean, it's an amazing product with lots of headroom. Amazon doesn't have that kind of headroom right now in their market. Hex is just pre-viral. It's pre-viral. The vast majority of people are not even aware of Hex, much less into it. Coconut, what's good, BP and everyone? Good day in Hex. Everybody's enjoying the gains. Everybody's enjoying that. I think people are breathing relief that we finally got the sacrifice phase launched. A lot of excitement around there. There was also people like, well, is it really going to be popular? Who's going to participate? Where am I going to rank? What kind of bonus will I get? A lot of excitement still to come there. Nicholas, Hex is too performing asset in history. It is, yes. Well, crypto is the greatest performing asset in history. And Bitcoin's up like, 6 million X since its launch. And Hex is up, 1,500 X, something like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of X's. It's funny, in crypto, we talk in terms of X, not even percentage. You go to Finance 1.0, it's always 7%. People were so excited when Pepsi-Cola, I think they beat earnings this last week and they went up like 7-8%, and there was a lot of excitement. And I'd kind of laugh. I'm like, boy, compare this to crypto, stocks are really boring. And I'm a stock guy, but I'll tell you, I watch the stocks, but I don't really dig in as much as I used to because the gains here are just so much greater. Stocks maybe would appear safer in some situations, but there's not nearly as much excitement in the stock market. Plus, this is a 24/7 deal. Stock market's like the bank. I mean, they close for every little micro holiday. They're closed on weekends. They're 9 to 4. They're 9:30 to 4 that they trade. I mean, very limited windows there. Hex, yes, Space City Beats. Stuart Peter Armstrong, seems all this success will draw close SEC scrutiny, i.e. XRP. Well, I'm sure, Stuart, but like everything in crypto, I don't think Hex is even on the radar screen because it's so heavily gatekept. Most people don't know about it. But the good thing is, Richard has done a tremendous job to not fall under any legs of the Howey test. Some people would say it's overly done, to eliminate any expectations, whatever. But you don't really have to worry about that. There's no company, there's no development group that you're funding. You run the contract yourself. You mint tokens, you burn tokens, you decide what you want to do, and you don't have any dependency. You don't send money to somebody else. You aren't using somebody else's ecosystem. I mean, there's really, Ripple is a totally different scenario. They've actually got, a corporate building with, staff and all that kind of thing. And even there, it looks like they're probably going to pull out of the lawsuit. But I think that Hex will be cleared the way that the due diligence that's been done to prevent that type of situation. We'll see. BMA, staking your Hex is the best way. Yeah, lock it up. Those T-shares. The T-shares are getting more expensive. Pop a lot with more peeps. I mean, we should go back now. Those T-shares, I think people are starting to see the value more and more as the Hex price goes up. When Hex was a tenth of a penny, it was hard to see it because even with a payout of 1,000 Hex or whatever, it didn't amount to much. You're like, oh, this is still pennies, what's the big deal? But as Hex starts to go up, even to the price it's at right now, well, now that's a bigger payout per day. You start to think, well, wait a minute, extrapolate that over years. And even though the payout changes day to day, it's not a static amount. You can see where there's some significant gains to be had for just set it and forget it. Nicholas, stakeholders, Hex class make too much money. Congrats. Yeah, well, the early stakers, and the nice thing is there's two factors that play into that. You've got the Hex price and the Hex payout. So you can be getting in, a decent amount of Hex, of a bump in that, plus the price of that can jump up like we've seen just this past week or so. So you got a double benefit there. Rob Hobbs, like a dual factor scenario. Is there any benefit to sacrificing ETH versus Hex versus USDC? No benefit other than that ETH and Hex, and prefer primarily Hex, will likely have price fluctuations and go up, versus USDC will just be a static rate. So if you're concerned, if you've got a number in mind, let's say 10 grand, and you want to be sure you've got that 10 grand, no more, no less. You don't want any price dip while you sacrifice to offset that, then you can use USDC. But if you want to roll it a little bit higher, you have some Hex. And a lot of people, I think what we're going to see is as we approach the close of the pre-bonding curve phase, this 5-day period, I think we're going to see a lot of people jumping in because there's some people that are waiting, no doubt, for Hex price to pump up probably this weekend, and then they want to sacrifice to get more bang for their buck. But that's the only benefit, really, Roy. Otherwise, there's no point benefit. It's all based on the actual USDC value of whatever you're sacrificing at that point in time. Jordan Wolf, I staked everything for 10 years, basically handcuffing myself so I can't sell early and miss the gain. Smart. Good. Force yourself to have some discipline with that. It's not a bad idea. Ladders come in helpful for that too, because you don't have to necessarily unstake at halfway for a bag because you've got nothing else to pull gains from in that time period. And you can have some small positions out, say the 5 years or whatever, where okay, I got this to look forward to, and it kind of offsets any desire to dump other positions or EES other positions. Vogel, bought my liquid for 3K. Now it's 24K. Happy as pie. There you go, Vogel. And to that other commenter's point, that's what I'm talking about. That's why that's the advantage to say Hex, you can put in that 3K of USDC and see it amplify and have a lot more purchasing power if the price goes up. Of course, the price could go down, and then you're not going to have that much. So there is always a risk with that. Space City Beats, hello, Space City Beats. Nicholas Lusanio, if I said that right, is Pulse an evolution of Ethereum? It's a hard fork of Ethereum, Nicholas. Like Hex is an evolution of Bitcoin. No, so P-Hex will be a stellar crypto. Well, P-Hex is just the Pulse. So Pulse is a hard fork of Ethereum, just like we had hard forks of Ethereum before with Matic and Binance Smart Chain and whatever. The difference is this. Richard is hard forked it, and he's putting in proof of stake instead of proof of work. He's copying the entire system state. This is the first time to do this, by the way, where you get all of your ERC20s, Uniswap, all that stuff that's currently on Ethereum will be copied over to the Pulse chain. Now, there'll be Pulse versions of those tokens. So say Chainlink, which is one that comes up a lot. You'll have a Pulse version of Chainlink. It won't be worth anything, and it may never be worth anything. It depends. But there's going to be thousands of coins copied over. Odds are some of them will embrace PulseChain, especially a lot of these that dabble in NFTs or some of these projects that use the S-load heavily or other functions that where gas is hurting their project. They would be wise to leverage Pulse in that respect. But then that proof of stake system, which Pulse is deflationary, where it burns the tokens for validators, burn it when they do the transactions, will be very interesting to see how that game theory plays out. So it's not necessarily, it's not an evolution of Bitcoin or anything like that, or even ETH. It's just a hard fork, which is a copy. So P-Hex, a copy with modifications. And P-Hex, again, is just, it's the exact same contract that Hex is on Ethereum at the same point in time, copied over to Pulse. The number of Hex per T-share will be exactly the same at start. They will diverge as time goes on and people open and close stakes. But all that will start. The price of P-Hex needs to be discovered. Nobody knows what that's going to be. We won't know until the market opens. Hope that answers your question. Crypto Journeyman, Texas, non-union, non-paying. Crab Steak, Pulse needs a privacy coin. I don't know, maybe something will be on there. There might be. Wait to see. I think there's going to be some hidden Easter eggs that Richard hasn't really revealed yet when Pulse starts. A lot of people are making comments and rumbling about possibly a stable coin, direct fiat pair onto Pulse chain instead of having to like go through, say, ETH and bridge on over. Maybe there'll be a way to get in directly. That might be what some of the talks are about behind the scenes. Just a wild guess. I have no idea. But that would be very, very bullish if that is the case. Crypto Journeyman, I don't know any good linemen that want to work in Texas. Neither do I. But I don't really know any good linemen at all. Drive a Tesla, keep a window breaker. A lot of people do that, Crypto Journeyman. I know the guy we were talking to yesterday, his wife has one in the car. Crypto Journeyman, people can't see the price of a T-share in 10 URS. 10 out. I'm not sure what you're saying. There's a 10 URS. But you can always see, if you want to see like the USD price, boy, I got caught up on chat here. Yeah, if you want to see the USD price, it's always on the hex.com page. But it doesn't show real time. I mean, it's only when the day rolls over, you'll get a new computation. Markable thoughts. Let's go, Pev. Hey, Markable, good to see you. Hit the likes. Thank you, Markable. Crypto Journeyman, the bearded man. Markable, the bearded man. Definitely. Ejection seat, hydraulic pressure, LOL, Mudhog. Funny. Yeah, maybe the James Bond days will be realized in the electric vehicle. Can you imagine James Bond driving a Chevy Bolt? That'd be like a spoof comedy right there. But it's got machine guns, yeah. But it's an electric vehicle Bolt. I mean, you know, it's like mowing your lawn with an electric lawnmower. I don't know. I guess it works, but I just can't see it. Children of the Great, morning, everyone. I mean, the tech will evolve where it will be equally powerful down the road and more efficient. Maybe when, you know, Tony Stark comes up with the all-spark power system where you just have unlimited energy, then we'll have that kind of stuff. Crypto Journeyman Cog, was that continuation of government? That's been around for a while. Phraseology, that's back more of a Cold War thing with the Soviet Union that was started. Phraseology, we're almost back at 17 cents. Yeah, we jumped back up pretty quick, Phraseology. I mean, you guys all see, we don't, when we do have a bit of a price wick down, it doesn't seem to linger there for very long. SAC more at 17, cool. My next SAC price target is 20. I think a lot of people are kind of waiting for that 20-cent price point. Frosty Dog, thanks, buddy. Russ, follow the whale, follow the whale. Whales do lead the way. They do dictate markets quite often. 20 cents is a nice target. I wouldn't be surprised to see that today. Stuart Peter Armstrong, 1917 pandemic lasted 3 years. Was that the Spanish flu? Frosty Dog, Richard Hart for president. Is that okay to say? Yeah, people have been asked. Somebody commented, I think, last night on that. It'll be an interesting campaign. I'd like to see that debate. Jeremy, I'm sacrificing at 50 cents on day 19. Well, good luck. You might get that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic. They might, don't forget, as people are sacrificing Hex, there's no P-Hex or anything to enter the market even now, even though we're going to, copy the chain over. So the Hex supply is the sellable, purchasable supply is dwindling. And the price, of course, is people want more to go in, the price is going to go up. Group the Journeyman, I'd rather have RH behind a computer. I think he's fine right where he is. He's doing phenomenal. Space City Beats, set it and forget it. Mudhog, first show was bad, got better in the last show. Oh, talking about the live streams, yeah. Stuart Peter Armstrong, true then, Gov did prohibition, then FDR outlawed our gold, spoiled the party. Yeah, actually good examples there, Stuart. You're right. DP Murray, AMD Trayvon must be crying his eyes out. I don't follow Trayvon. I don't know what that's about. Idea file, is there a countdown clock available for the sacrifice phase anywhere? Thanks. I don't think there is one yet, idea file, but I do believe people are trying to put some utilities together. The problem is you just don't have much time. If a dev throws like this Pulse leader page together, maybe they'll put something like that there. But likely by the time something's released, there just won't be a whole lot of days left. I think with the sacrifice phase, I wouldn't sit on my hands. No advice here. Right? I just wouldn't sit on my hands too long. I think most people are going to at least try to get in this first 5 days to get the best bang for their buck when it comes to purchasing the sacrifice points. Now, where you'll be ranked in the volume, well, that still remains to be seen towards the end. So, but I mean, if you want, it really makes sense to be in earlier. There's no strategy towards the end there. You're going to get a better deal in this first 5 days, and by design, that's what it's meant to be. We are silent professionals. Oh, I have mad respect for the Journeyman for anybody, any electricians. I mean, I live in Florida, so believe me, the hurricane season and stuff, I don't know how you guys do it, or if that's what your career is. But those guys, I mean, they bust their ass, and that's very, very dangerous work and hostile. I mean, it's dangerous work in good weather. Not to mention when you have trees down and rainstorms and flooding, and yeah, it's a behind-the-scenes, somewhat thankless job in that respect. Jorgen Wolf, I really don't get why people are so angry and hateful towards Hex. They can't take that RH made a lot of money on a successful product. Well, that's really what it's all about, Richard. If you ever notice the haters, they don't really bring up anything fundamentally against the project. It's always against Richard personally. In fact, they really don't even understand Hex. What do? They take shots at Richard's clothes, his watch collection, his personality, his throne room, whatever. It's always these very shallow observations. It's nothing of substance. It's rooted in adolescent bitterness. It's like, I don't like that he has more toys than me, so I hate him. Roger Lee 777. Got my Hex stake for 10 years. Sacrifice already made. Some profit taken. Great to be a Hexican and know what a privilege. Absolutely. And I think, as time goes on, we'll hopefully all be reaping those rewards for many years to come. Hate is the new way. Well, you know what, Crypto Journeyman, is true. And not only that, because the market is very bearish and down right now, there's a lot of sentiment around more price dips. That gets these people who have been losing money on their other shit coins to lash out. And when they see something else performing, and they're mad they didn't get in, or they just don't, misery loves company, right? And then they don't want to see anybody winning, so they want to pull everybody down. That's really what a lot of that's rooted in. Jeremy, I think a lot of the Hex anger is people that are invested. I was just saying this, sorry, I didn't read your comment first. And all the other cryptos seeing Hex as a threat, which it is true. And, we can all, Hex doesn't have to be the only asset. We got Pulse coming. We got P-Hex. There's be other projects. It's just got a great use case. It's a finished product. It works. It's got no downtime. There's no rug pulls. There's all this, assertions about it. It's all come and gone. And it functions, and it's got good fundamentals, and they're working. Just embrace it. That's all. It's like saying you can't have McDonald's because Walmart exists, or because Macy's exists. They're mutually exclusive. They have nothing to do with it. You can still have plenty of other good products, and they will emerge in the DeFi space. Stuart Peter Armstrong. So 300,000 Hex Hexers drive price to 17 cents, thus 1 million people could drive it to $2 easy logic. Oh yeah, Stuart, it doesn't take much economic energy to move Hex to $1. We're pre-viral. Many of the Hex community has been talking. It's a very, very small group of people that overcame the FUD, did some research, got in and held strong through all the FUD days. I think the community coming together, and this goes back to the days of Hexologists and Discourse Syndicate, RG3, KNTX, Dollar Cost, all these original guys who got out there, took a lot of bullets for everybody, but showed, brought it to the forefront that, hey, you're not alone. We are like-minded people. We do see the real potential here, and I believe that alone kept a lot of the hands strong. Dakota C at 25 cents, yeah. Well, even Richard commented on the live stream last week. Somebody was dumping. He goes, okay, we'll see you at $1 when you come back, and they will. Jeremy, they are just in the denial stage right before stage 2, and they decide to join the Hex Force. Very true. And the irony is a lot of these people should know better, because they saw this play out with Bitcoin and ETH in the early days, and nobody would listen to them. Let me check something, folks. I got to make sure I'm not supposed to end the stream right now. Hold on. Okay, we can continue. So yeah, that's really what it's just how soon we forget, what it was like to be new on the field. Culture critique, I call him Spoonface George. Yeah, he's a Scott Spoonface. He's like a potato head George. I don't, I'm not trying to pick on the guy, personally, but he didn't make a lot of good points. And I would at least have more respect for him if he'd go have a live stream and debate with Richard. He can bring up all these issues he has with Hex and hash it out there. But when you will make a video and lash out and say, I wish I was on that stream, because I wish BitBoy had me on there, because I would have set this guy straight. And then you don't have the balls to get up and face the guy when he agrees. He's like, okay, dude, come tell me how it is. Come debate me. Just stay out of it then, if that's what your position is going to be. If you don't want to take a shot, then just leave it alone. Let's see. Go look at George's comment section and Twitter replies. Many of his followers on YouTube and Twitter are bots. I'm not surprised at all, Michael. He's obviously a shill for a lot of trading platforms. I think he makes a good portion of his revenue. Although, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if crypto really shits the bed as far as a lot of the other coins in the space. All these guys will just stop streaming again. You didn't see most of them when we had a crypto winter. Where the hell were they then? Even George's channel just mysteriously got hacked or whatever, or they shut it down. And then it came back magically when the bull market started. Same with Chico and a lot of these other guys. Dorsey, George has proved to be a dumb shit, yeah. He's emotionally angry. He doesn't like Richard personally. That's blatantly obvious in his comments. Jurgen Wolf, I thought he tries to say he's smart, but then, it's like Christopher Hitchens used to say, He says, you know, you got to get behind somebody before you stab them in the back. I thought I was late when I bought Hex at 4 cents. Yesterday, I bought another bag at 17 cents. We are still early. Most people don't know about it because it's not positioned right on CoinGecko and CMC. Oh, it's gate kept like crazy, Jorgen. So fortunately, you did get in. And I do agree that those price points, looking back, you know, probably not even too far in the distant future, will be low entry points. I mean, think about it. Anybody, hey, Franklin, good to see you. Anybody that was, you know, watching Hex all through the launch phase, I remember folks talking about, oh, 1 penny, that's it. 2 pennies, oh no, you know, just wait for a pullback because this is still too high. And now, how much would you buy now if you just went back to a penny? Where people used to think that was the bubble, like, no, it's gonna peak there. You know, stand corrected, I guess, on that one. Learn from previous mistakes. Crypto Gains Club 369, super body. Catch up here. Hex Monkey, Hexicans and Pulseans ain't sleeping at Franklin yet. I'm too tired for full 14 pulses. I hear you, Hex Monkey. Well, you're lucky to get even a few out when you're over 50. So, Crypto Gains Club, I got some good sleep. That's good. Dave Morales, Hex Monkey, what is 13.5 pulses? That's more than most. Yeah, over 40. It goes after 40 pulses are more challenging. Crypto Gains Club, first 2 days kept me up. Oh yeah, we were all watching close. I remember waking up and I was like, oh boy, live stream. You know, launch is phase is underway, and I gave it a little time. And the next day, I started participating. Stuart Peter Armstrong, and don't forget, 1933 SEC did Hawley, right? Yeah, and that's, you know, not even 400 years ago. Vogel, smash the like button. Thanks, Vogel. RGS, Stuart Peter Armstrong, RH has nothing to fear from SEC. I think he's actually, like I said, some people criticized he's overly cautious, but better too much than not enough. And seeing the hate that this project has received, it was a very wise move to, you know, play it safe with that. Well, for all of us, really, for a lot of the reasons involved. Smash the like button. Yep. Wake Dog, I checked, and I'm in the top 3,000 sacrifices so far. Ooh, well, congrats, Wake Dog. That's pretty awesome. LOL. TextX, please share the link of sacrifice amounts. Rankings, thank you. I'll see if I can maybe put it in the description. I don't know if I can put it in the. Can I? I'm leery to put links in the chat, but pulselead.xyz. Just go straight to that. It's really easy to remember. Or somebody can maybe, if they, I don't know if Discourse has it set up to post, because remember, guys, this is not my channel. This is the Discourse Network channel, Discourse Syndicate. Stuart Peter Armstrong, seems she is going to redo the SEC rules, etc. RE DeFi GIE. A 3-year time limit to comply is too soon to tell now. It is too soon to tell, Stuart. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, and we'll probably see another administration come through before anybody's drawing conclusions on this. And you're talking about, you know, the financial sector, they're still way behind the curve and even understanding blockchain. Just listen to them talk. David Morales, Moderna just jumped 7% while becoming a Fortune 500 company last week. Oh, that's yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be said about that type of thing too, David. Tommy, do you think eHex can hold this price after the fork, or price will dump? A lot of people, Tommy, and I was suspecting too that eHex would not go away, but it would have it would be sold off heavily and probably fluctuate around a low price point, maybe enough liquidity to sell off some of the big positions in small phases that come out. After listening to Richard, though, and he said it again yesterday, that he wants Hex to be expensive everywhere. So I tend to think that probably not much will change on ETH. I think there will be some people who assume this and dump, thinking they're going to front run the traders and they're going to front run everybody else. They're going to dump at some kind of all-time high, like maybe where it is now, and then it will just dump back to a penny or less, or 2 cents or 4 cents, and never recover. I'm starting to believe that will not be the case. There might be some big sell-offs, but I think from what Richard has said in several live streams, that he would like to see Hex expensive everywhere. So I think you can read between the lines there that he's not going to be too happy with, you know, dead Hex on any chain. So I would think that if anything, maybe you'll have more slippage on one than the other. Maybe, but I don't know. You know, don't forget ETH gas fees. When the prices go up on that again, and they will, you're likely to see a lot of stakes abandoned, because we had this problem when ETH was out of control just a couple months ago, where people were bleeding out even stakes that weren't necessarily tiny, but and then long stakes would be unaffordable to end. So we'll see. I think you'll probably see some of that happen too. Probably more of that than anything. Ermif Noise, since 1930s, regulators make so much sense in computer age. Right. RGS, you mint your own coins, no work from others there. Exactly, Archie. And the system is designed and put together exactly to that effect, where you really are your own, you don't go through any middleman. You're your own investor. You do all the work. You make all the decisions. You don't consult with anyone. You don't pay anyone else. You don't, you know, when people call, like they love to yell out Hex Connect. This is not some kind of BitConnect nonsense. You know, you don't have paid shills. You don't send like your Bitcoin to this entity who says, hey, give it to me, and I know how to 2 or 3x your money, and I'll get back to you. And then it just goes, no. The contract works. The price of Hex is determined by the market. The contract has absolutely nothing to do with the price of Hex. You go in and you get more Hex tokens when you stake and you follow through with your commitments. And then everything else just works out in the ecosystem. Yeah, you make let's say you make a 100,000 Hex tokens, but there's a price dip. So yeah, it's not worth as much, but you still got your 100,000 Hex tokens. And to your point here, you do everything on your own. You don't need, Richard, nobody is actually needed to do that except for yourself. Word up. Culture critique. I want to sack my 1 billion Dogezilla. That's worth $8. I don't know. Is Dogezilla actually a thing? Probably sell that to USDC. Maybe you can. Big Smock Crypto. Morning, Big Pick. Morning, Big Smock. We are. Nerd Girl's not on today, guys, so I'm running over a little bit. If those of you that might have been wondering. Pulse Lord was here, so I'll hang with you guys for a bit more. Good to see you, Pulse Lord. Stuart Peter Armstrong, RH is building a new railway just like Vanderbilt did. Good analogy, Stuart. Agreed. I mean, look, progress is often met with resistance when it changes what people are used to. You know, keep that in mind too. You know, a lot of people rebelled against cell phones. A lot of people rebelled against pagers. A lot of people rebelled against getting rid of payphones for the most part. I mean, the things tend to just kind of evolve, and as you know, tech improves and then it becomes embraced. I've always brought up the credit cards and debit cards at McDonald's. It used to be frowned upon in the 80s when they started that. People were, you know, very upset. They were extremely put off by that. They're like, "What the hell is this? This is ridiculous. You know, just make them pay cash." And now, who uses cash at a drive-through? Hardly ever. It's always debit cards, credit cards, mostly debit, but same difference. Jeremy, Jesus is proud of Richard Hart. Probably. Gavin, will it be 202 on Coin Market Cap? Not sure what you mean there, Gavin. 202. You know about the ranking of Pulse or Hex or something? Oh boy, I've been running on my mouth a lot here. Hold on. Catch up with the chat. Crab Steak. Wow, I looked at George's show and I'm amazed that he said there is no use case for Hex. That's not. I know. He just, again, he's ridiculous. There's no use case for the shit he promotes. I can tell you that right now because I used to follow his channel, Culture Critique P. Monero. And the use case is the monetization of time. It's very simple. Oh, they try to act like it's got to be some kind of matrix of complexity and it's got to have all these emerging properties that are just, you know, unheard of and astonishing. No, it doesn't have to spin the world the other direction. You know, it just has to work well and serve a purpose. And Hex does. Monetization of time. End of story. And if, like I said, if that doesn't appeal to you, then okay, it's not for you. But to sit there and make stupid assertions like that is nonsense. Yeah, P. Monero, I don't know if they'll have that culture. Jeremy, it should be in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and Richard Hart. All right. Clinton Gee, I'm so glad George made a video trying to slam Richard and Hex. He converted me to a Hexican. I thank him for introducing me to this gem. Oh, yeah, that's good then, Clinton. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Well, that is true. Nick 1001, 10 years. EF Hutton's here. If you want a use case, buy something like EWT, but look at the charts first, not good. Yeah, good point, EF Hutton. Jeremy, thank Richard Hart for God. Okay. I'm not really a religious guy, so whatever on that, but all good. Archie S, what's George's YouTube channel? Need to check. Cryptos R Us, Archie. All one word. And the R it's not ARE, it's just the letter R. If Noy, P tornado fees will make it plausible again. Maybe. George probably admires my channel because not this channel, my Big Pep channel. If you guys aren't subbed, please go to Big Pep and sub there. So I got over 1,000 subs. Probably might make me one of the greatest ever on YouTube. I don't know, but that's probably up in the upper echelon. So that's probably why George is envious too. Crypto, how do I say this? Armor. It's the calm before the storm right now. Pre-viral. Crypto learner. Sorry, yes, pre-viral. Absolutely right. Motown oldies. What is the best cold storage wallet for Hex? I was looking into a Trezor T. Papa Boner goes by Papa B's on Telegram, PulseChain Telegram all the time. He's very well versed in this. He does a lot of research. I believe he says it's a Trezor T Motown, but I would go on t.me/PulseChain. Go in the voice chat. He's there quite often, or post it in the comments and ask him. He can comment on that very thoroughly and tell you what the best cold wallet is. But I do believe it is Trezor that he recommends. Mike Roller, I doubled my cash already in Hex, and I didn't stake. Should I want to be able to sell whenever it pumps really hard in a few years? So I'm trying to decipher your sentence here. Doubled my cash already in Hex, didn't stake. I want to be able to sell whenever it pumps really hard in a few years. Oh, I understand what you're saying. So you're just holding liquid for that. The only thing there, Mike, is you will get diluted over time if you hold too long. I mean, stake it, you're at least earning that trustless interest, so you're keeping up with the inflation in the ecosystem. But depending on the size of your bag and your time frame there, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there is people obviously that are just holding liquid for that reason. Crypto Journeyman, LOL, sorry, COG is, Children of the Grave. I thought that's quick. See, I'm from the old 80s, guys. You say stuff like COG, I think continuation of government. I see Ronald Reagan's face. Children of the Grave, yeah. Trapcoin, what's up with the Ethereum God whale that was buying Hex? What do you mean? What's up with him? Is he buying not enough, or probably waiting for new opportunities? I Trapcoin, to be honest with you, I really don't keep up with the God whale that much. I know of him. I mostly just look at the charts, see like we got to wake up again here now, and I try not to dig too deep because it'll take your whole day if you let it. You'll get sucked in. Mad Mike Braley, Bree sent the link for the countdown clock. Okay. Marcavelli, crypto banter, more like Binance shill banter or Rec Pleb Prois coin bantering bitches. I totally agree, Marcavelli. I was in the comments there, I was like, these guys lost Rec Plebs is all I thought. I said, what a pathetic group. I'm like, this kind of nonsense that goes on in there. I mean, does it help them out in the real world if they get a few over the fence or whatever, these insults and stuff in these chats? No, they're still Rec Plebs after the show's over. So they ought to take a step back and think about what the hell they're doing. Get into something that's working. Why wouldn't you get into a working product? That's what I don't understand with a lot of these people. It's like, I'm teamed up with, say, George is always a good example now. Yeah, I'm in now they got this thing going on in his chats too, where we are George. Kind of like we are Negan, I guess, out of Walking Dead. I'm guessing that's what that's supposed to be. Maybe they're like the Borg in Star Trek or something. They're all one central consciousness of George. Might just say we are wrecked. We are George, we are wrecked. Jeremy, maybe it's worth it to wait for day 6 to catch any price pump and only incur 5% penalty. Well, Jeremy, there's plenty of people I'm sure that have thought of that in mind. I think this is the game theory playing out, and it's not a one size fits all. There's probably going to be participants at all levels throughout this time period. It'll be very interesting to see. I think the key takeaway, and I made a video the other day on this, is to just participate. You know, the only guarantee is you'll get zero gains and zero pulse if you have zero participation. American State National, RH will be the first trillionaire. Maybe. Be interesting. 5% pulse by penalty. Remember when they called Hex a scam? Haha. Oh, well, MS, a lot of them unfortunately still do. But that is coming around. I mean, there are people that have been changing their worldview on that. There are some people, at least with the balls to come up and stand corrected, or swallow their pride a little bit, say, hey, you know what? I jumped to a conclusion for shallow reasons, and I didn't do my homework, and Richard was right after all, or this actually works after all, and I want to get in. And hats off to you. Just like Richard said once, he hated Ethereum, and he had to correct his worldview when the ecosystem improved, when the substrate improved. And that's kind of what different scenario we have here. People just came out swinging at Hex blindly, and then maybe took a step back and said, hold on, this didn't play out the way I said it would. Like the big payday dump. Everybody said rug pull, big payday. He's going to rug pull and run. All YouTubers are saying it. Didn't happen. Still hasn't happened. There are many entrepreneurs that act like RH politeness is not a biz asset in many cases. Marketability, Jeremy Smart. True. Crypto Learner, when the masses realize their crypto influencers were all wrong about Hex, damn, they will get hunted. I'm surprised a lot of it hasn't happened now, Crypto Learner. I think what they're doing is they're like, well, you know what, I followed this guy, and I'll just put blinders on to Hex because, he's still promoting some other garbage that maybe I'll get rich on. They're hoping that, well, here's what they're thinking. They're like, well, Hex already ramped up, too late, so I'll just put blinders onto it. I'm still going to focus on this guy because he's going to tell me the next Hex. He's going to tell me the next, big pump coin that I can get in early and get some gains, and they always get wrecked. Most of them get wrecked. Day 16 could be nuts too. I think this weekend could be honest with you, because don't forget we got that 5-day window closing. What is it? Maybe Monday? I think Monday it closes. Only a 50% hit. Is there a minimum sacrifice? I don't know. SC5, I imagine $1. I think $1 is probably the minimum, since the point system is $1 for 10,000. And I do know this. I've heard a lot of people talk about when you do sacrifice to use an even amount of money and remove the decimals. Don't know if that's still an issue, but like if you're gonna put in $1,000 or 1,000 hex or whatever, don't put in 1,000.23. Put in just whatever it is, without the decimal. But I believe $1 would be. I mean, I can't see even going that small, because the gas fees you have to pay, even though the gas is not too expensive. I would think at least $1. Dollar cost in, dollar cost out, Mark Billy says, right. I think Hexicans are the silent professional. Let the haters say it. That's what I do, Crypto Journey. I mean, I don't really even waste time with these people. You don't ever see me on Twitter back and forth. It's a futile effort, and just let them not buy it. Let them walk. Who cares? They can hate it till the end of time if they want to. I couldn't give a shit. I'd rather be focused on people that are a little more objective thinkers. And look, not everybody you tell about Hex is going to embrace it. Some people just don't like crypto. Some people just don't have an interest in getting involved. That's fine. You don't have to try to force everybody to fit in, but just introduce it, and if people are intrigued, let it go from there. Otherwise, just maybe they come back later, maybe they don't, but spend your time on productive efforts, not just spinning in circles. MS, these salty CT big accounts halted Hex at 0001. The thousandths of a penny, but I guarantee they will love it at $1. Well, that's always the case, MS. People hated Amazon they didn't hate it, but they didn't want Amazon at $20, $30 because it was too risky. I don't want Amazon at $20, $30. Now they can't get enough of it at $4,000, $3,500. Marketability, how does the bigger pays better work during sacrifice for someone with like 40K? Can you DCC that, or does it behoove you to do it all once? It doesn't matter, Marketability. You could distribute that evenly over all the days, or all in one day, or in any portions you want. It's not going to be aggregated, or it's not going to be totaled until the very end of the phase. So everything across those days will be tallied up, and then the volumes will be sorted from largest to smallest, and your bonus factor, your bonus multiplier, will be assessed then. So wherever you fall in the stack. So for your 40K here, you're going to get the most points in these first 5 days. That's really all there is to it. I mean, and then as the days go on, the only difference is you're going to be buying the points at a higher price. So they'll become $1.10 for 10,000, and $1.25 for 10,000, eventually $2 for 10,000. That's the only difference. I mean, the only thing in this part I'm not 100% sure on how it works with the volume phase, so I don't want to get too detailed in it, but the last 3 days are hard-coded at 1.75. Where volume, from my understanding, doesn't matter. You just say hard part 1.75. So maybe if you think you've got a smaller position and you're not going to get at least that going in the early phase, you could strategize there. However, you would need Hex up at a much higher price, at least 2x from where it is now, to even your money out. Because don't forget, you're going to get more points. You're going to pay twice as many for points at that time period. So I wouldn't game the system in any way. The earlier pays better is the way to think here. I guess that's what I should have just opened with. Culture critique, I will. Short-term pricey, Hex 37 cents, 47 cents, stay home. Yeah, PCAM, I think plenty of people calling for 50 cents by the time sacrifice is over. I mean, I'm a little more conservative than that, but the way this is playing out wouldn't shock me because of the way the supply is getting bought up, and so much of the sacrifices are coming from Hex. And in big amounts, not like just 10,000 Hex. You're talking about people putting in big bags of Hex over this thing. So, George's Cryptos RS channel. Correct, Archie. Yeah, Hutton, if you only find a couple other projects that will most likely embrace and welcome PulseChain, you have a golden opportunity to accumulate early with your Pulse. Absolutely, if Hutton. Not only that, I think there's going to be some projects that embrace Pulse. And there's going to be new projects that leverage Pulse and build on Pulse and don't even build on ETH. That'll be coming. Wait and see. Loose banner. What PulseChain projects will you buy on the new chain other than Hex? I don't have anything targeted specifically, Loose Banner, but I might be interested in Compound and OB. Don't know about some of the other ones out there. There's a few I could be dabbling in, but I don't have a lot of specific targets there. The one thing I probably, and this is just my personal opinion, is I don't think Chainlink would embrace Pulse. That's just my opinion. They may love it, but maybe they will come around someday. But a lot of people that are pounding drums on Chainlink, I'm not 100% certain on that community. And I only just mention it because they have a very big following and a lot of investors. But there's thousands of other tokens. I'd be honest with you, since I've been in Hex, I really don't research a lot of those other ones, but those are just a couple that come to mind. So maybe something like Compound. And even then, I'd be more interested in PHEX, to be honest with you. I wouldn't probably get into many of these others until I have at least the PHEX levels. If there's a good sale on PHEX, that would be my first target. We'll see about that. The clever name, we'll see about that. George is irrelevant next. Absolutely. Totally agree. Stuart Peter, pioneers get the arrows, but also the land and gold. Absolutely right. I mean, look, it's getting into new territory. Yeah, it's an uphill battle, you know. S25 VOC, is there a minimum sacrifice answer? Yeah, I answered that one already. I think $1 is the minimum. Jeremy, Market Valley, it has to all be done from same wallet address to get the biggest benefit for multipliers. Correct. Yeah, because your volume at the end of the phase is what's going to be used to calculate your position in the stack, and how higher up you go, the bigger your multiplier. Up to 2.5. Journeyman, Pete Cam, that's a beautiful price. Yes, it is. GSS, I think BTC here at 31 to 30K is analogous to BTC when it was languishing at 6K before the dump to sub 3K. You know, I've said before with Bitcoin, I have to laugh at everybody sweating at 30K because I remember in 2017 when 20K was considered a ridiculously high price and everybody was going to get wrecked and it was going to go to zero, and it did crash. But you know, people freaking out at 30K Bitcoin, how soon we forget when people said 20K was ridiculously expensive and it, you know, would never hit that again. Marcavelli, thanks, Jeremy. There's probably a little more to that too. I mean, I could see Bitcoin, like here, this comment, RH said BTC to 10K, probably. And then it'll probably bounce back to 100K at some point. Hexander, good afternoon, Pep and all. And I'm not like a Bitcoin guy. I don't even have a Bitcoin, but you know, I just watch it in the space, and I think that, you know, there'll be major pullbacks, but then major runs up. And when Hex doesn't get gatekept anymore and starts stealing some press, we'll see what happens. But they're different use cases anyway. Bitcoin is just a store of value. Hex also can be a store of value, but it's the monetization of time. Big game changer. And all the fundamentals and game theory around it. That's why I'm asking. Okay. Well, I hope I answered the question. No, do you think none of the crypto news channels are covering the Pulse launch because Richard speaks the truth about all this stuff they promote that gets you wrecked? Yeah, Richard doesn't pay people to shill his stuff. That's the biggest reason. I'll tell you this, and again, this is just my assertion. I'll bet you if Richard went to any of these promoters, these big channels like Chico or George, or Chico's a little bit Tourettesy, but you know, a lot of these other guys, and offered them a fat stack of cash. Here, promote this token. Well, many of them would do it. You know, if he had done it a long time ago when this launched, they'd be much friendlier. But again, most of these guys, yeah, it's all about money. You can buy your way into anything, but Richard doesn't play that game, and then they don't like him personally, and then we go back to the whole success thing. T-shirts, sack all you can, but at least sack $1 just to see what happens. No min sack, just gas. Yeah, I think it's just gas that would offset anything to go below that. No minimum. Time TYVM shares, T-shares. Please stop talking about the ape, George, please. Yes, we will. I'm just catching up with comments. I'm probably a bit behind here. We'll skip over anything to do with him. He's not relevant, like I said. Gonna do BK, 8K, but curious. It should be fine. Smash, thanks for smashing the likes. Hi, what are T-shares and Hex staking? No, T-shares are just the way you earn trustless interest each day. When you make a stake, you're awarded, you burn your Hex and you're given T-shares. And let's say you got 10 T-shares and the Hex is 5 Hex per day or 6 Hex, let's say 6 Hex per day payout. This is around 5.8 lately. That means you'll get 60 Hex in interest paid to your stack per day. So when you mint your tokens at the end of your stake, you will get your principal back plus whatever interest you accrued during that time period. That's how the T-shares work. So the more T-shares, the more interest you earn. Hiroshi can't be reached right now. Marcavelli, the multiplier has to do with the day specific to sacrifice as well. I thought, yeah, I'm not sure, Marcavelli, you're talking about the last few days there or not. I was under the impression that I originally thought it was day to day, but now I understand it's just aggregated to that entire phase in the beginning. And then your total there. Now, your price you pay for the Pulse credits will vary. Definitely, if you buy at a later point, you're going to pay more for those. Maybe that's what you mean. There's the link right there, pulsehead.xyz. Thank you, David. And say that again, Jeremy. True, but if the DCAing through days 1 through 5, they get added up. Absolutely. I think they all do. Less irritating and fewer words. I don't know what some of these acronyms are, guys. Oh, thank you, VML. Welcome to My Moon Vamos. Mr. QM, Big Pep, are you planning to buy any PHEX with your Pulse? Sorry if you covered already, no problem. Yeah, I definitely will be looking to do that. You know, when the chain launches, Be interested to see what the price point is. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure everybody is waiting to do that. So depending on when you get to the market and what the price points are will determine how much Pulse I decide to use for that. You can't sell staked EHEX. No. But I believe Steph's Firebun said he can wrap stakes. That might be something coming out with Pulse where you can sell stakes. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I do remember him saying something like that. So maybe down the road you can. Marcavelli, the first 5 days and the last 3 are coupled somehow. Interesting. The first 5 have no price increase. The last 3 are at the top of the cost of the credits. Fred Flint, people are staked for 5 on EHEX. Yeah, I mean, those stakes aren't going anywhere. You're going to get a copy of them on Pulse. It just depends on ETH. If the gas spikes up when those stakes end, even those might be cost prohibitive to end. I think you'll probably still make it, but they might be very expensive because of the way the S load works on ETH and the fees involved. We've seen that already, which is a big reason Richard's launching Pulse, to save those people. Dylan Fowler, rich people will use EHEX. Those not so will use PHEX. You know, I'm not to get into it in this live stream because we're already hour and a half, but I might do a video on that. I've put some thought into that, and I've got some scenarios, my own game theory around how that might be best to play out. Parasail, I'll publish something later. Hi, how can we know the exact USD value sacrificed? If you go to the, well, if you're talking about, you're putting it on, taking it like Hex or something, you can go to that pulselead.xyz, and it will tell you your total sacrifice USD value in the list when your wallet address shows up there. Fred Flint, there is no way they are going to dump. I don't see it either, Fred. Dave Morales, site is down for maintenance. It says 15 minutes tops. Okay. I will continue to use EHEX. So will I, Fred Flint. I'm not dumping off EHEX and just listen to Richard. If he wants Hex to be expensive, if he would prefer for Hex to be expensive everywhere, I think a lot of the concerns around EHEX can kind of erode away. But with that being said, there's certainly people that will probably panic dump thinking it will end after the phase, and then it comes back. So maybe there'll be a buying opportunity, if anything. But I don't think anybody's going to abandon EHEX. Why would you? Cornholio, all Pulse airdrop, could it dump hard when first launched? Well, it's all going to have a value of 0, Cornholio, so I don't see where it would dump to. I think it's got nowhere to go but up. All those PRC20s are going to be 0 value, including Pulse is 0. So dumping, no, I don't see. Maybe it'll be a run up and then a dump, possibly. But I think over time, the fundamentals will kick in. Jeremy, Marcavelli, I don't think they are coupled. They are their own separate days, I believe. Could be wrong. Yeah, the first and last ones, they're not tied together at all. It's just they have different factors around them. Loose banner, I bet ETH will fork again. We'll have 3 times the chains. Maybe. Stuart, Dev Kyle explained Hex model well on YouTube. Dev Kyle does very thorough explanations. A really smart guy. Holy smokes, I'm behind the chat here. Oh, Toby won. Much love, Big Pep. I see the super chat. Thank you very much for the $20. We need a better way to tip you and the network. Is it true YouTube gets 40%? That's what I've heard. And via Hexaco, your clip was one of my favorite parts. Thank you. I know my participation wasn't stellar in that, but I'm not, like I said, I got a face for radio. So forgot where I was in chat here. Let me catch up with chat, guys. Lost my spot. Hang on, folks. Because this StreamYard chat, it bumps you down. It was right around here. Thank you, Toby, for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. Yeah, and YouTube does take a pretty big portion. Parasail, how can we know the exact USD value sacrificed? Yeah, that one I answered. Rizology, I could hang with Big Pep all day. Well, thank you, Rizology. I appreciate that. Not sure everybody want to do that. What is this? Nigi girl? Stay home, stay home. I'm home now. Hiroshi, Big Pep is hella chill and big brain. Thank you, Hiroshi. I do try to just chill. I never really try to be too amped up. Big brain, I don't know. Cloudy brain. Probably more accurate. Dylan Fowler, Cornholio, too many people are on board already. It will just pump if it works well as Hex. I think we're through the gates when it comes to this, guys. I mean, the the concerns and the uncertainty around initial ETH have come and gone, and it's proven itself. Richard's brand is solid now. When he hit him going into this, look at the confidence in the sacrifice phase so far, almost $200 million. That's because Hex has functioned and performed so well. People are like, hey, you know what? All these assertions around this thing is going to rug pull and die and whatever, they've come and gone, and it's performed extremely well. So this time, I don't want to make the same mistake and get in, and that's evident in the money. The money speaks for itself there. So yeah, to your point here, I think the dump-a-mentals are long gone, and the weak hands have mostly been flushed out. Culture critique. I do cash, but I am a bartender, and that's all I make is cash. Actually, culture, yeah, though a bartender makes sense. And actually, when I'm at a restaurant or bar, I try to tip in cash so the house doesn't take a cut of the check. And I don't know if you guys know this either, but it's been proven cash, there's like a dopamine response in your brain when there's an emotional response when somebody receives or parts with cash. It's actually like a physical pleasure or pain event. So if somebody gave you great service at a bar like this or a restaurant, whatever, if you pay and tip in cash, the server has a natural, positive physical mental response, whether they're aware of it or not, versus when you can write the same number on your receipt as a debit card transaction. Doesn't have the same effect. And plus, a lot of times restaurants take cuts of those receipts, so something to consider. Rizology, Hex is ranked 201. Pulse will definitely be ranked 202, probably. Gavin, the Pulse ranking, I was thinking it will be listed at 202. Okay, gotcha. Probably. Unfortunately, because it's Richard, it will be gate kept just as Hex is. But, we'll get around it. We've survived this well so far. Once it goes viral, though, I think these sites are going to have to just come around. Jeremy, oh geez, haha, let's see. Monetization of time, love it. That's right, Dylan. I mean, it's fundamental, and it's in the ecosystem we've had for many years in banking. And that's what Richard said. He took the second most popular product at the bank, and he put it on the blockchain. Keep the KISS rule, right? Keep it simple, stupid. So, I mean, I'm not trivializing Hex. It was a tremendous, Nobel Prize winning effort. But he didn't try to overcomplicate something to make it look cool. That's the point. He tried to make it functional, usable, and easier to understand instead of more complex. Like a lot of these cryptos that are out there, if you look into them, they're usually just transaction type systems to take one coin and use another coin as a fee to transact into another coin, yet to loan out another coin to some other crypto guy trying to do the same thing. I mean, a lot of it is just that. They're coins with, they're coins with hypothetical utility. Nobody needs that for anything. It's just traders trying to play games with 5 or 6 different cryptos. Fred Flint, Hex is the best. It is a program that takes your money and made me 2400x. Yeah, many of us, Fred, I agree. Tommy A. About eHex versus PHEX, there will be many short stakes on PulseChain. There will be more inflation of PHEX earlier than on Ethereum. So there's another comment here. Well, to your point, Tommy, I think what will happen is the longer stakes will be more popular on PHEX, on Pulse, because the gas fees won't murder you. I think ETH will probably thrive more with bigger, shorter stakes, maybe some longer ones, but I think that people are going to be skittish on ETH because gas can spike up, at any given time. Not even if it doesn't have to be the Berlin fork type of deal. It's just that there's another NFT craze that could cause a lot of people to, forfeit a stake. So I think you'll probably see bigger bags cycling stakes on ETH, and the smaller ones will go on Pulse. I think the bulk will be on Pulse across the board, but I think you'll see more of those bigger, longer ones on Pulse just because there's not as many concerns around gas. We'll guess remain to be seen. Let's see. Tarnwig, they will probably switch Hex to 301, Pulse to 401. But it's unfortunate. I wish they could just put it where it belongs. Jeremy, thank you. Thank our AI overlords for Richard Hart. Thank you, AI overlords. Dylan Fowler, the main thing is we are all in early for Pulse and PHEX. Exactly. Pulse and PHEX just getting started. Even EHEX. And the nice thing is, look, you don't have to wait. EHEX, you're going to get a copy of whatever you got, stakes and liquid on PulseChain. So you don't even have to wait for Pulse. Fred Flynn already subbed. Your board conversations are fun and classic. Thank you. Whiteboard. Oh, thank you, Fred Flynn. I appreciate that. I'm slowly becoming an NFT superstar. I expect I can probably sell those for maybe me and Beeble. Maybe I'll just send them to Beeble, whatever his name is. He can stitch them together. Call it the Big Pep Show, first 5,000 days. See if it goes at Christie's for 80 million. Tommy, PHEX versus EHEX or Pulse, there will be a lot of short stakes since it'll be much cheaper. That means more inflation quicker than on Ethereum, so I would not so sure PHEX would be more expensive. Remains to be seen. The one thing about that, Tommy, is I think the difference is the smaller people, the smaller investors who maybe they have economic energy but want to dip their toe in the water have been kept out of HEX because the ETH gas was so high. And they didn't want to pay like a $500,000, $500 or $1,000 investment to try it out. They didn't want to pay $100 or $200 in gas fees, and who can blame them? But with Pulse, that won't be an issue. So I think people will be able to experiment with it a little bit more, get excited, and then kind of pull themselves into it, get hooked in it. Then he says, George, yeah, George is a pleb. Anyways, time with him. Market Valley, thank you, 5D Future Selves, for guiding us all here for Mad Gains. Yes, thank you, Future Self. Anzon Yimas, Pep, any thoughts on what the Pulse supply will be if we're getting 10,000 Pulse per point and 1 point per dollar? Total sacrifice amount already is insane, and it's only day 3. Well, Richard said that it will be a minimum of 10,000x the ETH supply with the option to expand beyond that if the sacrifice phase takes off to that level. So that would be the answer. It won't be less than 10,000x the ETH supply. And then it could go beyond that. Linus, what's up, Big Pep? Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Linus. Any thoughts on current strategies for sacrifice phase and then launch? Really just the simple strategy is to get in now with sac phase to get the best deals for your points. And unless you're just waiting for money to come in towards the end, that's the game. And then, just wait for the Pulse launch and hope you get the best multiplier. Well, you'll get what you get, but participating now, earlier pays better. That's the only real strategy around it that I can see. There's really no big game to wait. Found a like button. Thank you, David. Hope that answers that, Linus. That's fortunately with this, there's not. It's a short phase. It's pretty clear where your best deals are, regardless of how much money you're going in with, unless maybe you're a super whale or whatever. But for the rest of us, first 5 days, and then just wait it out and see what it comes out to and what kind of multiplier you get. Parasail, will Hex face the same fate as XRP? I don't see how. I mean, Hex has been probably. Richard's been more diligent about preventing Hex from falling under the legs of the Howey test than any other crypto out there that I can think of. So, no. Dylan Fowler and XRP, like to this point, XRP is nowhere near decentralized as Hex. SEC ain't got shit on Richard. True. I mean, XRP is a corporation. It has a CEO. It has a staff. It's your typical, type of entrepreneurial startup, you could almost say. So it's totally different. You could easily make a case about expectations from the work of others with Ripple, no doubt. And even then, it sounds like they're going to come out ahead. All about the Hex. Everyone in crypto is getting wrecked right now except Hexicans. That's why the other people in crypto are so nasty right now towards Hex. Hex, whether E or P, will always continue to rise if it's utilized. I think that Richard nailed it. Some of the halves is going to be greater than the whole. I mean, When Richard talks, you have to understand two things. One is there's certain things he'd like to say that he can't. And then there's certain things he's purposely not saying because he wants you to think. So when he makes statements like that, read between the lines, do some critical thinking and kind of say, all right, what's the underlying message here? What's he really trying to tell you? He's dropping you some hints, but you have to kind of, apply some thought process to it. We are wrecked, haha. We're wrecked into retirement. A lot of people are anyway. I'm still working, but Funky Fresh, the Borg were scary. Yeah, but Star Trek First Contact was a great show, great movie. Jeremy, I actually thought of that by myself. Good one. Cornholio, could whales pump Hex on the 5th day, last moment, then dump it after the 5th? I mean, whales can do all kinds of whale moves there, Cornholio. Could they pump on the 5th day? Sure. Whales can do whatever they want. Whales can drive prices up and down in any market. They, but I don't get reactive to whales because they make a big splash and then they just kind of swim away and come back later. SES, we are not George. No need to discuss that. Gross Dino, exactly. Hey, Cal W. Hey, Big Pep, I heard you say in the past how the OA could stake. Do you still stand by that? Thanks a bunch. You talking about sacrifice or staking for the... well, if we're talking about staking to offset the amount of Hex per T-share paid out, possibly. Don't see a motive for that right now. If we're talking about sacrificing, they could, but I think that the way the sacrifice face is designed, probably not. But I don't know. They do whatever they want. Remains to be seen. All I can say about this is the OA has generally made moves. Everything the OA does is to benefit the big picture of the Hex ecosystem. So I don't think they would stake just to be a dick, and I don't think that they would sacrifice just to be a dick. I think if they had a reason to do something, it would be a bigger picture scenario that's beneficial for Pulse and or Hex or PHEX. Would be my assertion, suspicion, opinion, just no financial advice. Market value, Hex is the only crypto, everything is a promise coin. You're right. That's why I can get here and talk about Hex, because it is a finished product. It functions accordingly. It's performed better than I suspected. I mean, remember, I was calling for 10-cent Hex this year. We well surpassed that. And I was calling for that in December. So what the hell do I know? I'm not Big Pep, I'm Big Pleb when it comes to that. And I'm happy to be corrected. I will happily stand corrected. So we're good to go. Maybe I called for 20 cents. I don't remember. But it certainly wasn't any higher than that for this year. I think it was 10 cents. Any parallel thinking on that is just copying, right? Oh, we've seen some copycats already. Fred Flint, why would a whale pump and dump? Fred will play games that actually maybe don't seem beneficial to them initially, but to play with other people's emotions, because there's a lot of emotion tied to money. And retail investors, such as most of us are, will react. Some will react to big price swings up or down, and they do it all over the place. And in stocks, look at GameStop. I mean, or you can look at not even meme stocks. You can look at Amazon. You can look at Disney. You can look at anything. Whales play games to drive people's emotions in markets because they know how the average retail investor thinks. Whales don't carry those same emotions into the game. They don't need to. So there's not always a lot of easy to understand rationale behind their moves. Idea file, is there a countdown clock for the PulseChain stack anywhere? Somebody was just, maybe it was David was posting a link to that, or maybe it's going to be on this Pulse lead. Let me just refresh this and see if it shows up, if there's a clock there. Somebody was saying there would be. I don't see one. For fun. This is the only crypto, yeah. Pleb sphere wheels, exactly. Dylan, maybe by day 6 is when the whale finds out and starts pumping it. I have to wait and see. That could be. Could be. I mean, it's going to be a lot of stuff to play out. Oh, countdown clock for sacrifice right here. It's down there. Marcavelli. Thank you, Marcavelli. The bone broth. I'm so happy my wife's, I love this comment. I'm so happy my wife's boyfriend introduced me to Hex. It's life-changing. I mean, yeah, he's keeping her company and brought you to Hex. Definitely buy him a beer, man. He's helping you balance out the wife aggro. I mean, that's great. Yeah. Be sure to give him something for Christmas. Jeremy, I heard others say whales are going to wait till the last minute of day 19 and pump and dump. Maybe. And like I said, whales can play all kinds of games. The takeaway from something like that is like, well, what are you going to do if that happens? Is it going to change anything? Probably not, right? So I wouldn't really waste any time thinking about it. If they do it, they do it. And maybe there'll be a buying opportunity or something. I don't know. But, you can play that card. It's always nice to have a little powder in the keg in case something like that takes place. But I never bet on it. Jumping out them gems. I used to buy the Hex is a scam talk, but screw those people. They cheated me. Hey, I got fudded out even as strong as I was in Hex. I didn't go in as strong as I should have because of some of the heavy FUD at the time. 17.3 cents. Bone breath. Once Hex is correctly ranked on CM, many crypto YouTubers will lose followers. Yes, they will. I'm sure some have already that never admitted. Good show. Thank you. Doing a solid job there, Big Pep. Thank you, Pineapple Express. Appreciate it. Dave Morales, yes, remove the decimals on anything you sacrifice. I had 4 failed transactions before figuring it out. Yeah, thanks for confirming that, David. I only know that because I do listen in on the Telegram voice chat quite often, and somebody yesterday, I heard a few people talking about that. So I always said walk, don't run into the sacrifice. Go do a little research, listen to some feedback from others. There's certain anomalies that pop up. This is one of them. So yeah, getting rid of the decimals is apparently the main thing to be aware of there. Rule of thumb is to follow your own gut feeling when investing. Never listen to another with your money. Are they even wealthy? I don't listen to broke people. I go to work and it's like, that Sixth Sense movie with Bruce Willis and the kids, like, I see dead people. I go in, I see broke people, and I don't listen to them. And they all hate crypto, but I don't listen to them because they're broke people. Mudhog, C5 is buying a supporting price lately as in hours ago. Cool. Glad to have him. So what's this? FU and an amount with decimal transaction will go through. Well, yeah, if you get rid of, like I said, if you're going to put in $1,000, don't put in 1,000.25. If you're going to put in Hex, don't put in, 1,000.3 Hex. Just put a flat, truncated. Get rid of everything after the decimal. You shouldn't have any issues. When I put stuff in, that's what I've done. Round numbers out. It was no problem. And I picked a fast gas transaction too, because there was some people talking about if you had like the default gas fee, sometimes it can get locked up. I usually go to the fast anyway. And anything I do. Crypto Gym Rat, Big Pep on Discourse Syndicate. You made my afternoon. Thank you, Crypto Gym Rat. I'm on here Saturdays now. I'm part of the Discourse Syndicate network on my Saturday show. Baseline to 1 point. I still have my Big Pep channel though, so if you're not over there, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Big Pep on YouTube. You'll see my ruggedly handsome profile there. Can't miss it. The 1.5 volumes is instead of the 2.5 volume bonus. Are we talking about the 1.75 in the last 3 days there, Baseline? That's a hard-coded one. 2.5 is the max, and of course, unless you're putting in one of these millions, you're probably not going to get that. But you can still get a pretty good amplifier on there, pretty good bonus. Crypto Jim Rat, I love your content. Always feel relaxed listening to your stuff. Thank you, Crypto Jim Rat. Appreciate it. Enjoy all of you being here, too. We've had 251 people watching. I've been over about 220, 250 now for maybe the last hour. If there is somebody else trying to get on Discourse, just shoot me a message or something, or comment and tell me to get the hell off of here. But Otherwise, I'll keep going. I like to at least get caught up with the chat. So you get half as many tokens and half the volume bonus at the end. We're talking about the last. It's just they're more expensive for the credits. So right now it's $1 per 10,000, and at the last days it will be say $1 for 5,000 because it's going to be $2 per credit. That makes sense. Not per credit, but for 10,000 it would cost you $2. Look at it that way. Mudhog, what doesn't have admin keys? Those would be good to look at. Good point, Mudhog. That would be some research to do, but that would be a place to start. I agree with you. Not many, I can tell you that. Fred Flint, we need to build on Pulse. We need to advertise for new PRC20s. Savings and gas fees makes any new coins flourish. Who wants to pay high ETH fees? Absolutely. I think it's going to, I mean, this entire, the technology of blockchain is in its very, very primitive early stages. We are in like the DOS 1.2. We don't even have Windows 3 out yet in blockchain. I mean, we're a long ways from, getting to, a flourishing type of use case for the entire blockchain ecosystem. Those days will come, but getting in now is always looking back the best times. It's like getting in, Apple came out with computers, well before it was even a thing. And a lot of people resisted. It was expensive, whatever. It was slow, all this. But then they took off, and now everybody has that. Now your phone is stronger than most desktops. Pulse, new railway, faster, cheaper, larger cargo loads. Yeah, good point, Stuart. Who is George? That's that Cryptosaurus guy. He's not worth talking about. George Page Show Fuds, yeah. Yeah, I only mentioned it because he did that video. Dave Morales, Pulse Lead is back up. Pulse Lead XYZ. Baggio, hey Pep, hope you're doing good. I am, thank you, Baggio. I hope you are too. Shelter and KNTX, hey fam, how you doing? Good to see KNTX. Knipples. Oh yeah, I hear it call them that sometimes on Discourse. Custard, will we be able to get PHEX T-shares for cheap on launch day? Depends on if you're talking about the USD value, maybe if Pulse is a lower price to begin with, but the number of hex required for a P-share, for a T-share on Pulse is going to be the same as it is on Hex. That's copied over. But again, if Pulse Hex is say a penny, and E-Hex is 20 cents, and the USD value will be less until Pulse Hex jumps up in price. I don't even figure in a multiplier since I'm a Plankton. Well, Plankton's still higher than a lot of other people I've seen on YouTube. So, hey, if you're in the pool at all, man, Plankton or Super Whale, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get something. And look, getting in even at these early stages, it's a place to be, right? I mean, it's the thing, you got to participate to get anything out of it. That's the main point. Big Pep in the house. Freddie Quotes. Hey, good to see you, man. Freddie Quotes in the house. Friflin Smart. Argavelli, call it a scam. Yeah. That word's losing more and more meaning all the time. Freddie Quotes, KNTX, how late you all go last night? I think they were on. I just watched it before this show, Freddie. You're talking about FN Hangout. I think it was about 3.5 hours. Joey Pronk, I sacked $200 of Hex, get about 2 million points. If Hex is 4 times higher in value, do I get more points? Well, it's you're credited, and this was Richard talking to this point the other day. Almost immediately when you make the sacrifice, there's a little bit of a time window in there, but if it goes up 4x higher a day later, no, that's not going to make a difference. But if it does it within that time period of your sacrifice, then you would get more. Like I said, you can check that pulselead.xyz for your status on there as far as USD. Cryptophil, is there any issues with gas and ending a 5555 stake? I heard so etching of this nature. E should fix these issues by then, though. Only on Ethereum, Cryptophil, and right now, the gas, it would be, because of the S load, it would be pretty expensive to end a 15-year stake on Ethereum. Pulse is actually one of the driving forces to launch Pulse was just to fix this problem. So you should be fine on Pulse. Now the ETH stakes, it's a hit or miss. It depends on ETH gas. Nobody knows. Trading with Mr. T, great information and stream. Thank you. OG here, and I'm really impressed with how the community is growing and working together. Thank you. I am too, trading. We got some really smart people in here. The funding Jim and KNTX is in here, and we got RG3 dollar cost. You got Hexologist, got tons and tons of other people. Mark Velli and Papa B and all these other guys do streams every day. Holy smokes! I think I lost the chat. If I'm skipping chat, it's because StreamYard bumped me and I talk too much. What if you send part of a coin, ETH or BTC, that would be a decimal? Good question. BTC, I'm not sure that BTC would have that issue because that's a different that's a different network. I go on though and ask somebody in Telegram about those. But that is a valid question. I don't know if that fractional portion, because most people would probably not have a whole unit of at least a Bitcoin to send in. So obviously people have been sending in Bitcoin, but I'd post that question before you sent anything. Frosty Dog, Elon Musk, the richest African American in the world, apparently. Hexamonkey, Dumpamentals, LOL. First time I've heard that word. I think you officially coined a big pet. Did I? Well, thank God I did something to be remembered by, because I've always been concerned that, how will people remember Big Pep was ever here? So finally, it only took 51 years, but I'll take it. Fundamentals is me. Marco Suarez, Pep, when you tip with cash, it's the same. Servers and bartenders tip out based on total sales, not tips. Okay, thank you, Marcos. I just try to tip with cash in general because I know it's got a bigger effect and people tend to, at least it gives them more options. Bitcoin has great fundamentals. That's right, Hex Monkey, and we're seeing that now. Hex and Pulse will be 201, 202, 203 on CMC, probably. Markavell, you have to claim credit card tips and get taxed. Cash tips can be entered at a lower rate. Pay less or no taxes, not financial advice. Okay, Markavell. I'm sure that probably happens in the those type of environments, no doubt. The finesse, much easier to find seller than buyers in all other cryptos, that's for sure. I mean, again, when you hear the hostility in the rest of the crypto space, that's very evident. Frosty Dog, please only give us financial advice. Oh, and I got to do the Hexo tie wiggly. Don't have a tie. No financial advice, guys. No financial advice. I can't even give myself advice, much less anybody else. No financial advice. Enter 1 if you are new to Hex. A Big Pep, hey, good to see you. Crypto Gains Club. Enter 69 if you're new to the chat. Nice. We have the best admins in crypto. Oh, I wish we do a Hex Monkey. Love to see you smile says, why doesn't the sacrifice page show you what you've already sacrificed? The sacrifice page is strictly to eliminate confusion, and it doesn't have the data real time. Would be the answer there, but you can go to the pulselead.xyz if you want to see that, or just go check it in Prisology 69. Funny. If you want to see that, or just go on Etherscan and look up your transaction, see that I went to the address. But we have the best gains in crypto. Yes, we do. Prisology might be new. He just forgot where he was. Marcavelli, ASL. Cass Roulette. Hi, Big Pep. Hello, Cass. Briss. Prisology is always fun to listen to. Will T-Share on PulseChain start at 0? Only the USD value, because Pulse has no value. But it will start at the number of Pulse Hex required will be the same as the number of eHex. So it's like 19,000. So like it was today, you need like 19,000 P-Hex for a T-Share. But 19,000 P-Hex might cost you a lot less in the beginning. Enjoying the gains. Yes, we are. ETH system state. Yes, it will be snapshotted. So the day of the snapshot, that rate will be copied, correct. And then it will diverge from there because when people open and close stakes, they'll be exclusive to that chain. What's good, hermanos? I'm all Brizology. I'm about to double my T shares. I'm super excited. Yeah, we all are for that. Mike Wills Jr., your video, is it too late to invest in Hex? Don't fudge yourself out. Made me go all in about a month or so ago. Cool. I thought I was in late till I watched it. Very happy with my decision. Thanks. Hey, welcome, Mike. That's kind of why I put it together, because it's the first thing people tend to assume when they see a big price up. They're like, well, too late for that one. Look for something else. Pre-viral mic drop. Absolutely. And we are pre-viral. So again, getting in now. Magic carpet ride. I mean, if Hex was mainstream already, then yeah, you might say, well, you know, we've kind of, you know, we're already in orbit now. We're coasting now. We're still cruising, but the rocket ship has kind of slowed the momentum there. We don't have the velocity we had before, but this thing's still pretty viral. Mark Belly, my new job is not losing my T-shares for as long as possible. I hear that. Richard Hart said that to possibly keep your free Pulse coins after launch, he has to give it to us at, for example, 0, not 0.00, or what was that, 1 millionth of a penny, because that would become a taxable event. Correct. Everything on Pulse has a 0 value. So you're getting nothing. You're getting tokens, but nothing of value. And I think it's, yeah, I've heard him say that for that reason. We're all on a magic carpet ride. Hey, RJ3, ARG, Morning Hexagons, the pirate is here. Marcavelli, yeah, mine too. Frosty Dog, so if it goes from whatever that is to another higher fraction of a penny, will we make a 10x that fast? Because he said for it to be free, he needs to start it at no value. Pretty much, Frosty. I mean, it will find a value quickly, but your initial, when it's when it's given to you, it will have 0. That's the point. You may log in and it has a value, but that's because you were late to the exchange. Greetings, Scarface. RG3, 10 cents was the Moon Boy talk too. Yeah, I remember that. LMAO, big pleb in the house. That's me. Big pleb and dumpamentals. My two things. Yo. Catch up with chat, guys. There's a lot more chat in this channel. 39 addresses. Just donated $1 to sacrifice. Funny, David. Some people just trying it out, I guess. Got any idea how DAOs might work in the Pulse fork? Not sure, Shaggy. I haven't really looked into that. That's probably a good thing to ask on the voice chat Telegram. I know there's been some talk. Some people have more knowledge about those there that could probably answer that in detail. My finger is hovering over the sacrifice button. Don't let it hover too long, man. Just drop it. Just pull the trigger. Trying to make a buy on 1 inch at 15 cents. Do you think, or 15.05? Do you think it will hit? You think it will hit in the next 2 days? What do I think it will hit? Are you asking me what price it will hit? I mean, I don't. I could see it as 25 cents this weekend, if that's what you're asking. Posted the countdown clock. Thank you, Marcavelli. 200x should be no problem. We start, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see some pretty significant fundamentals in playing out in Pulse and P-Hex. And I think E-Hex too. I think that's kind of a sleeper because everybody's just assuming it's going to dump. And I don't think that's the case. Day 3, is this day 3, Scarface? I am not 100% sure when the official kickoff was. I know it was in the middle of the night where I'm at, so I don't know actually when the counter started. But I think we are day 3. I just don't know where in day 3. RG3, how do I find a boyfriend for my wife? Don't worry, RG3. She can figure that one out. What you do is you just go hang out at the pub. Well, for most guys, it works like this. Most married guys that I know is they generally go working 9 to 5. And then the wife tends to find a boyfriend. Hire a pool boy, or maybe somebody to mow the lawn. That tends to work. Or send them to the casino. A lot of times that seems to play out. No financial advice. No relationship advice. I'm the last person for that. I can tell you how to end a relationship. I'm a Viking with that. But, otherwise, I don't have any other advice. Let's see. Other than maybe, the only smart, I'll say this on relationships. The only contract I'm interested in anymore is a smart contract. So I guess marriage is out of the picture. Brian Funk, yeah, RH holds back on thoughts and streams still go multiple hours. Yeah, RH is he is the true streamer Viking. I don't know how he does that 5 and 6 hours, 8 hours sometimes. Dan Morales, great trade. Have him keep the wife and stay with the Hex. I'd keep the Hex, yeah. I'd just tell him no returns or exchanges. I don't want to hear you coming back saying you got a bad deal. LMA RG3 is the man. Donata Bree posted it last night. Okay. So are we starting at 0 per pulse? Yes, Frosty. 0 value, everything on PulseChain. Pulse, all the PRC20s, absolute 0 until the market opens, and then price discovery will be had. 2-foot waves yesterday. Going again around 2 p.m. 500X. Oh, yeah, 500X is nothing. I think we'll get 500X without breaking a sweat. Because look at the positive vibes around this, the attitude around Pulse and stuff. This is a total opposite of what Hex was in the beginning. Even legacy guys got skittish in the beginning because of the FUD and there wasn't the community and all this. Now you're giving people a second chance. Do you really think P-Hex out of Satoshi is going to linger around? Do you think you'll have a day 33, day 43 event? You might have a 30-second event of that in Pulse Hex. There's no way I see that staying around there. No financial advice. I'm just saying. I think that it's a lot of pipe dreams. If you believe that you're going to get in and scoop up millions of Hex for $100 or something, good luck. And hats off to you if you get that. But yeah, I don't know that I would put a lot of hope into that. That's more hopium. We start wherever. It's where we land. What's it like, Crypto Pirates? Thank you, CS. C5. Yeah, C5. Thank you very much. Is a sacrifice stage 19 or 17 days? It is 19 because they extended the pre-launch from 3 to 5. Frosty Dog. Richard Hart said something last night about it being a year, or it's what I was saying, a 0 price value so that it wouldn't be a taxable event. Yeah, I heard him say that too. 0 price. 0 prices. It was the 81st to sacrifice. 17. Sam, at what price is the right time to sacrifice Hex? Man, if I had that answer, I probably wouldn't tell you. No, I'm just kidding. Who knows? Any price right now is likely a big gain for people that have been in Hex. So I would be more concerned with the time frame that you get in before the price of the credits goes up than anything. I think right now, could you get a 2x in Hex before the 5 days is up? Maybe. I think a lot of people are probably going to wait till that nearly ends because they're thinking there'll be a mad flurry in. But I don't know. I'm fine with where it is now, to be honest with you, if you have to go in. But it's always nice to get a little bump. But it depends how high up you're looking for here. Morning, afternoon, Henry. I like Hex. Keep up the good work, Big Pep. Thank you, Henry. I will try to do that. If you have 100 million Pulse, do you think it's smart to put at least half into Hex and stake it? Seems like the minimum play to me. We'll have to see what the market opens up like, Tiger. I don't know what that's going to cost you in Pulse to get that a big bag of Hex. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe. These kind of questions are tough to answer because it's just pure speculation. I mean, I could say that I could make a case for that either way. 0.0000099 is 100x. Big Smart Crypto, I'm sorry, but I can't sacrifice my Hex. Wex checks Lex, but not Hex. Not alone there. I don't think anybody wants to. People are just doing using Hex because it's had better price performance. RG3, 8 mil sack just went down. Nice. Wolf of Worcester, Big Pep, you ain't retired yet? No, man. I wish I was. I told you guys before I didn't. I am the loneliest dolphin. I got in, not as heavy as most people because I'm, big pleb. So I'm just a retail pleb like most guys. So, I get it. No, I'm not retired yet. I wish I was. I look like I'm old enough to be retired, but unfortunately, no. But hopefully, if Hex keeps performing the way it's doing, that day will come sooner than later. So, fingers crossed. Marcavelli, according to the clock I posted, I think you're on day half of sacrifice. I don't think that's right. Yeah, it doesn't sound right. Tiger, even though we get a Hex duplicate on the PulseChain, I want the whole roster of money printers into the future. Well, I think you'll get it. 8 million, damn, that's a lot. Turtle Gang. Or almost, I think we're getting close to getting, yeah. 2 money printers is going to be insane. It's going to be nuts. And there's going to be a lot of volatility. All here for Pep. Thank you, Archie. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility short term, and I think it's going to level off, and it's going to take off even stronger. That's just my suspicion. Because Hex is the long play. Christiani, Terra Share sounds like an early internet download site. It kind of does. Henry Hex, the only work is going to be managing the stakes at ×2. It's nuts. That will be a little bit, there might be some applications to be developed that might help that. I know Staker app, but maybe even some online tools for people that aren't always on their phone. Robert Berman, how come T-shares are same on P-Hex and E-Hex? There's no ROI on P-Hex. It's nothing to do with that, Robert. It has to do with the code. You're copying the Hex contract. Nothing is changing. And currently, that number is set at like 19,000 Hex to acquire a T-share. So that's all that means. But as far as the cost of Hex, well, that is yet to be determined. So you're right, no ROI. It's just when that system state's copied, it's going to hit the ground running wherever Hex is at that point. That's all it is. There's no changes to the contract. Cash Roulette, I'm retiring first week of August. There's still meat on the bone, too. Nice. Ronald Reagan. Hey, Ronald, what's going on, man? I voted for you. When is a snapshot for eHex to determine how much PHEX you have on Pulse? Don't know yet, Ronald. I would think, according to Richard, I mean, the testnet's going to be up soon, or they're starting it now or whatever to run Pulse. Hopefully not too far after the end of the sacrifice, but no date has been mentioned. Lost time trying to hit a buy of Hex at 15 cents, 15.05 cents, trying to get the 20T for snapshot. Do you think the buy will happen? I mean, your guess is as good as mine on that lost time. I'd like to tell you, one way or the other. I think double Melzo. Yeah, I mean, I think that I think we're going to see the price go up a bit more than where it is now as this thing goes on. I think entering into day 5 will probably drive some, and maybe we'll have some pullback after that. But I mean, trying to play it on the edge like this, that's a tough one because there's so many factors going in. I think just as long as you get in those first 5 days is probably no financial advice, but probably the smartest move. That's the main takeaway. It's the exact time for when the new day ends. I don't know, Stacy. I was asking that earlier. That was not really clear to me, but Telegram, somebody might have answered that. Thankful for the breeze. Another hot day here in PR. It's a hot day over here, too. I don't know where that is either, Marcavelli. So the decimal of Bitcoin and it worked fine. Okay, thank you, Brizology. 0.17 a hex is still cheap. Absolutely, Fred. Hey, big fan of yours, Big Pep. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Arv. Rich Profit, what are T-shares and do we get paid off of it? T-shares are just when you open a stake, you burn your hex, and you are given T-shares in return based on the length of your stake and how much hex you put in. And longer pays better, get you more T-shares. So if you get 100 T-shares, every day there's an interest payout in your stake. And if it's, say, 5 hex per day, you will get 500 hex. It's 5 times 5 hex per T-share. So 5 times 100, you're going to get 500 hex a day on your stack. Now that hex per T-share fluctuates. Some days it's 5.8. Some days, I think it was 7 the other day, and go down to 4, whatever, so that does fluctuate, but that's the way it works. And then that's how you earn your interest over the length of your stake. Hope that answered that. Scarnface, Hollywood, Florida. Oh yeah, Hollywood, Florida. Haven't been up there. Why are people asking if it's too late? Ranked number 201 on highest traffic ranking site. Just the price, Stacy. People see the price up and they think it's too late to get in. People who missed out on eHex will invest in pHex, almost certainly Parasail. Rigo Ruda, just noticed that the dollar value for Hex on MetaMask has not fluctuated, changed in 3 days. Strange. That is strange. Maybe something with your browser. Never heard of him till you said I looked like him in BTC Miami. Morning. Hey, Unwrecked Pirate. Good morning. Crypto Games, smash the likes. Scoby Snacks. No matter what happens, Bitcoin Party song will pick you back up. Big ups. True. Everyone is playing Sacrifice Chicken. Good analogy there, Culture Critique. Yeah, I agree. Henry Hex, I'm not sure pHex will be cheap for long. I'm not sure either. I don't think it will be. Margavelli, Tom Segura is funny, and yes, you look like him, Michael. Vinrex, when you sacrifice Hex Max with 18 decimals, the transaction will fail. Just remove a couple decimal places, it will go through. Thank you, Vinrex. Clears that up. RG3, I'm here. I can help. How much hex does she come with? Funny one, Hexhound. LOL, Frost the Dog. Markable will be your pool boy captain. Maybe new jobs coming. LOL, Pep is a gem. Haha. Thank you, Hiroshi. Hex and Steak show. Don't get married. Famous last words, yes. Marcavelli, I will fight for the Cabana Boy position. Hey, that can work. You need service, the Cabana Boy position. You could work that out pretty well. Haha. Oh, that's priceless, Pep. Thank you, Tiger. Smart contract relationship, hilarious. That's what I've been telling people in the regular walks of life for a while when they ask me about that. They're like, hey, man, you ever going to get married again? I said, I'm only interested in smart contracts going forward. Other contract, not such a great deal. The payout is definitely not in your favor. Maybe that'll be a blockchain dating site, smart contract dating. It might be $1 million, $1 billion idea. Stacy Bandine, sold it on double, sold it on double, sold on double. Marriage, probably not a smart contract. Yeah, go ask a divorce lawyer, Archie. They'll tell you. Tiger, Pep is never going to catch up on this chat because we are on fire. Oh, yeah, well, of course, we got sacrifice going on. We've had over 200 people in here for a while. If I'm running over, I'm probably going to wrap this up soon anyway. I'm running out of gas myself. Hiroshi, I got to go eat lunch. Once Pulse is live, I'm popping a 30 Addy and getting to work. Nice. Pulse will go to the moon. I hope so. Can you take ETH price and divide by 10,000 to get Pulse price? Not necessarily, Alan, because people are going to be paying different amounts over the bonding curve, and you can guesstimate it, but I don't know how accurate it's going to be. Will there be a block explorer for Pulse? Probably. I'd be surprised if there isn't. Maybe down the road. Crypto Jim Rat, I sacrificed a third of my liquid hex the first day 16-ish. I just wanted to be in a little. I might not sack anything else. Wait and see. Whatever you're comfortable with. Everybody has to kind of make their own decisions there. Even Richard said he gives you kind of a reference point with that 1/3, 2/3, but that's not a hard line rule. A lot of people are waiting to sack on day 5. I'm sure of that. Woke up thinking I snagged a hex limit order perfectly as I slept, and I realized the chart was frozen. Uh-oh. Holy smokes, guys. I'm struggling to get it up in chat here. I'm going to get caught up. Crypto Jim, Brad, I feel like if you don't sacrifice anything, you could make up for it with the capital after launch. True. You could have more plays that way. That is a good point. The more hex you sacrifice, the less on the market. That's a big pump of mental right there. Understood, Pep. Thanks for an honest take on the unknown. You're welcome. The level of value is a dolphin. It has to do with the percentage of shares. I think it's like a 0.001% or greater of shares. Tiger and Millionaire. Million hex. Million hex would, what is a million hex? A million hex at $1, I guess you'd be a millionaire with a million hex, but I don't know what is it now? About 100 and, what is a million hex? About 170,000 now, something like that. 17 something cents. Can I sack from my trust wallet? Somebody asked that, and I can't remember what the answer was in Telegram. I'd say, again, check Telegram for that one. I've already staked 15, 12, 10 years, 25,000 hex stakes, or 25K hex size stakes. Didn't seem like much when I did it. It feels pretty good now. Yeah, I know. It's all relative. I told you back when I gave that guy the 25,000 hex for the Lowe's delivery, it was like $40 at that time. And now, it's like 3-some thousand. So yeah, and he staked it and got big payday. So he did the smart thing. I tried to get him in. I used it as kind of an on-ramp because he was being lazy and he got into hex. And, now he's doing well. His wife wouldn't let him buy too much more, but that's okay. He got a little bit, and now he can probably buy more. I think he's got approval. 4 million minimum for a dolphin. Who dat? That might be about right. Stacy Vanny, becoming a squid. It has to do with how much you have T-shares, though. It's not just the number of hex. So if you got an early T-shares, you can get more T-shares with less hex in the day. Becoming a squid is out of reach for most people. Now, I think actually becoming a turtle is going to be out of reach before too long. I'm jacked on Omega 369. Ask me anything. All righty. What's the price of PHEX going to be? How's the emergency stake slash doing on EHEX recently? I haven't looked. Craziest game theory known to mankind. I honestly, Loose Banner, I have no idea. Maybe a hodl dog. He usually watches that more closely. You're showing your age with that Reagan vote. Am I? Did I even talk about Reagan? I lost my memory too. Yeah, I know. I know. I should. Well, you know what? I'm glad that's the only thing showing my age, and it's not my, my face and fading hair and Botox needed squint lines. So that's a good thing, I suppose. Motown Oldies. That's the only thing I'm in good shape. What's a good cold storage wallet for Hex? I think again, Papa Bone or Papa B on Telegram can tell you. I think he mentions the Trezor T is the good one, but I would ask him. He's got more expertise with that. Shout out to Big Game. I think just being in Hex period, if you're staked, you're getting T-shares now. If you get T-shares, I think it's still early in the game. That's just my opinion. You won't get as many T-shares today as you would have a year ago, but for as much money. But that's fine. You're still in the game. Crypto Jim Rat, I'm going minimally into the sacrifice. I want liquid shit P-Hex on the other side, and maybe I can scoop up Pulse. Okay. It's hard getting rid of Hex. Yes, it is. It feels dumb sometimes. It does. But you see the big picture, it's not such a big problem to deal with. But I get it. Well, people are playing that angle too. Rigo Ruda. Anyone know why dollar value is not updated on MetaMask? Wonder if it'll affect anything when sacrificing. No, I don't think so. I don't believe that's where the price comes from. Crypto, maybe there's just maybe some with the network of MetaMask. I don't know. Crypto Gym Rat, but I don't know shit. Well, most of us don't. There is instant gratification with a political statement. True. Hex dollar value. Rigo would be pending for some time, or you have too many decimals and it will fail transaction. Yeah, that's what people were saying. Do you think that in the long run, P-Hex will outrun E-Hex? Yes, I do, Kareem. Only because of the gas being so cheap, and you don't have to sweat the stakes. You can have stakes of varying lengths on Pulse with really no concerns about, abandoning your stake, as we saw when the gas price shot up on ETH. I think that you'll see more participation for that reason alone. Squid Gang. And there's just more confidence in the network there. Does P-Hex start at 0? Yes. E-Type, go Big Pep. I'm going, man. I'm in 2.5 hours now. I'll wrap this up soon. Scanface, hit me up on Telegram or Twitter. T-shares are pleasantries. Marriage on the blockchain. That's not a network I don't want to bridge to that network. I'll fly by. Parasail. Will we be able to swap some of the Pulse to PHEX when they both at zero to avoid taxable event? Good question, Parasail. I don't know how that is going to be assessed. That's actually a good question. I'd post that in Telegram. Probably not. Hex dates, LOL, need more females first. Well, that's for sure. We got some great women in the Hex community, but no doubt about, I mean, in my YouTube analytics, my viewers, my subscriber base is like 99.9% male. So we're just like Richard says, it's just mostly guys in crypto right now. But there are women starting to, meander into the space. So it's good to see. I mean, there are over half the population, so get them involved, and we will go viral. Then it's going to take off hard. Thanks for the answer. You're welcome. What is this animal list for ranking? It's just a fun ranking system, Fred, for where you are in the staking pool, what percentage of shares you have. The more you have, the higher you go. And it's like shrimp, turtle, or shrimp, crab, I think, then turtle and squid, dolphin, whale, shark, and Poseidon, which there are none. There's like maybe 13, 12 whales. Top 675 to 700 squids are now USD millionaires. That's probably true, Blackling. That is almost certainly true. Oh my God, I'm finally caught up with chat. OBX, what do you say that? Reaper? I'm not sure what that means, or how to pronounce it. What happens on PulseChain stays on PulseChain. Good point. I like it. That's where I'll keep it. All right, everybody. We had 200 viewers live pretty much this whole session. So thanks for everybody that tuned in, participated in chat. Appreciate all of you here. But we are 2.5 hours. I'm going to wrap this up. And everybody, stake accordingly. The sacrifice phase, play your hand as it suits you best. But like I've said before, the key takeaway is you're going to get zero if you don't participate at all. So sitting on the sidelines is not the right play. Otherwise, just forge ahead and get your head in the game. I think no financial advice, just my opinion, but we'll all be better off in the long run. Big hopes for PulseHex, eHex, and the PulseChain. So a lot of excitement in the space. I'm sure a lot of other streams going on. Take care, guys. I'm going to sign off. See you.